airplane mode and silent.
Eh bien, nous avons dit bienvenue pour la session qui consiste aujourd'hui à côté nous, c'est le même Parlement qui a fait débat et bien qui a fait contribution à ce budget qui est présenté par le Premier ministre Philippe J. Pierre. Ça c'est mardi avec c'est le même Parlement qui discuter, fait contribution, il a commencé hier avec aujourd'hui. Ces derniers jours pour faire ces contributions. Hier, il y a différents membres du Parlement qui font présentation. Mais avant de dire ça, aujourd'hui, peut-être qu'il y a un autre monde qui est aujourd'hui. Je veux dire, pas ça fait aujourd'hui. Avec moi, bien content pour nous, Claudia, moi, lui. C'est pas la première fois que Claudia a fait ça. Alors, moi, je dis plus bon en mon neuf, mais il dit, mais ça va avec pièce. C'est Claudia qui a fait ça. Claudia, peut-être ça dit bonjour.
Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to you, Michael, our Creole expert on the broadcast. Good morning to the Director of Information Services, Mrs. Vinette Santoma Fontenelle, and the Principal Information Officer, Mrs. Bissette Joseph, over at the GIS, the entire team. I'm happy to be here and welcome to our broadcast. All of you in the diaspora as well as here at home, we will be happy to have you as we go through the day 2 of the debate. And today we are going to have the Honorable Alva Baptiste, Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire, Honorable Alan Chasney, Honorable Stevenson King, Honorable Richard Frederick, Honorable Wayne Girard, Honorable Kenson Joel Casimir.
Eh bien, nous sommes sergent en la portant avec un speaker derrière. Nous avons commencé à présent. Alors, nous avons mené un outil speaker qui est concept pour nous commencer la session aujourd'hui.
Let us pray. Almighty God, by whom alone kings reign and princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding, we, thy unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down thy heavenly wisdom from above to direct and guide us in all our consultations. And grant that we, having thy fear always before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections, the result of all our counsels may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the King, the public weal, peace and tranquility of St. Lucia, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity, one towards another, for Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Ghost be with us all evermore. Good morning, members. Through you, please permit me to express condolences to the DDA family on the passing of one of my best friends, Ricardo Didier, the brother of the late Dr. Martin Didier, who passed away yesterday. Members, again, through you, permit me to remind both members and non-members that a contempt of Parliament can take place even outside of the corridors of Parliament. And that people who post untruths about the Parliament, who bring the Parliament into disrepute, I will have absolutely no hesitation in bringing them before the House to answer why they should not be disciplined. I was alerted this morning to a post that suggested that members of Parliament were involved in a fistfight yesterday, to the point where people are saying somebody has said they even have photographs. No member of Parliament, including the Speaker, is above criticism. What we are above is people telling untruths about us. And it will not be tolerated as long as I'm the Speaker of this House. I know some of them will criticize me on Facebook today, but so be it. This job comes with that territory. If you're a Speaker and you're afraid of criticisms, get another job. Members, on a brighter note, today we have with us our very successful Carifta athletes, including the fastest young lady in the Caribbean today. And when I call your name, you may stand. J.D. Emmanuel, gold medal, under 17 100 meters and under 17 200 meters. I've been advised by your district rep to inform you he will be here shortly. Thank you very much. Nia Jules, not present. Silver, girls open pole vault, and I was told, Mr. Minister, she took up the sport only 7 months ago. Destiny Snack. Oh, she, okay, the pole vaulter. Bronze under 17 high jump. All of you who did not medal, in our eyes, you're all winners. It is a team effort, but they are individual sports. So I invite you to please remain with us, because our first speaker today will be the Minister for Sports, and he has asked me to ensure that you remain. So, thank you very much. Members, when we rose last night, the question before this House was that the Appropriation 2025-2026 bill be read a second time. The member for Groslip.
Mr. Speaker, I am indeed humbled as I rise in support of the appropriation of this estimate of revenue and expenditure for the period 2025-2026 put forward by the member for Castries East. Mr. Speaker, there is no question in any objective person's mind that youth and sports development in this country is heading in the right direction. And as factual as it is that there is no successful country or government with a failed prime minister, there is no success in youth and sports development without a Minister of Finance who gets it. Fact. And so, Mr. Speaker, we are gathered here today And we see the likes of the next generation in our midst. So Speaker, first, our national swim team, they continue to impress on Lucas at the Carifta level. Allow me to introduce you to them, Mr. Speaker. They included Tristan Dorville, who again medaled at this level, Mr. Speaker, and was part of the historic 4x1 team who ensured that for the first time St. Lucia registered a gold medal in the relays, Mr. Speaker. Included Faith Jeffrey, Antoine Destang in swimming, Carrick Charles, Mr. Speaker, Faith Lubra, Noah Dorville, Jaden Zhu, Aaron Charles, Mr. Speaker, Ethan Hazel, and of course, Mr. Speaker, Sophia Parks. This year, the team brought home 13 medals, Mr. Speaker. 13 in swimming. Sophia Parks, in her first showing at Carifta, won 8 medals, Mr. Speaker. 8. Antoine Destang, a name we continue to hear over and over again, registered 3 medals, Mr. Speaker. Tristan Dorville, again in the medal count, former junior athlete of the year, Mr. Speaker, continuing to do his thing in swimming, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the sport of track and field has been transformed in St. Lucia forever. Fact, in 2023, we sent 9 athletes who qualified to compete at the Carifta Games in track and field. In 2024, we sent over 17 athletes. This year, Mr. Speaker, a record 22 athletes from St. Lucia met the qualifying standard to attend the Carifta Games in Trinidad and Tobago, the most in our history. So, Mr. Speaker, allow me to introduce this year's full team. J.D. Emmanuel from the community of Labrie, Destiny Snack, Gabriel Facey, Barbara Marie Maximin, Maya Landers, Isabella Emilia. In the under-20 girls category, Saisha Rogers, Naya Jules, Naomi London, Mr. Speaker, who qualified but was unable to make it, Deandra Isidore, Ricardo Mann, Tariq Plummer, Denzel Phillips, Jaquan Alexander, Omarion Edwin, Benika Mann, Ivan John, Laverne Jabatis, Ryan Simeon, Josiah Dupree, Micaiah Sobers, Jakim Raymond. Mr. Speaker, they were ably assisted by the officials, Mr. Cornelius Brin, who continues to volunteer his time, Mr. Speaker, to the sport of track and field. Ms. Denise Herman, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Titus Elier, Mr. Len Leos, Mrs. Martina James Shalry, long-time person in the sport, see her with a smile at every track event and at the VG field when they have the training sessions, and our former world-class Makiba Alcid, also part of that team, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our athletes made us proud. Destiny Snack joined an illustrious group of girls, including Laverne Spencer and Janelle Shaper, who captured medals in the girls' high jump event, Mr. Speaker. Destiny cleared the bar at a personal best 1.68 meters to capture bronze at the event, and she is the one, Mr. Speaker, competing in just her 4th event, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Nia Jules equaled our national pole vault record of 3.0 meters as she captured silver at the Carifta event. Jules is, of course, currently on an athletic scholarship in the United States. But the queen on the track was Labrie's J.D. Emmanuel. Emmanuel took her place in St. Lucia's history forever as she became the first ever individual, male or female, to win a gold medal in the sprint event at the Carifta Games. Emmanuel crossed the finish line in 11.50 seconds, surpassing Julian Alfred's national under-17 record. But this wasn't enough. The daughter of Cecilia Placid and James Emmanuel, she made history again by outclassing the Jamaicans and the Trinidadians and the Bajans and all of them to win gold in the 200 meters, Mr. Speaker. Registered a new national record in the process. As such, it is a fact that St. Lucia now has the fastest woman in the world, Julian Alfred, and the fastest under-17 female athlete in the Caribbean, J.D. Emmanuel. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if we look closely at what's happening in track and field in St. Lucia, we currently have 2 young girls in the top 5 sprinters in the region at the under-19 level, when we include Naomi London, who held out due to injury at this Carifta Games. If you know Naomi London, a proud individual from Viewfort North, you know she is chopping at the bits to get back out there and continue her journey of excellence. So, Mr. Speaker, with this Prime Minister, with this Minister of Youth Development and Sport, along with this Cabinet of Ministers, rest assured, we will be making investment in these athletes to ensure even more success, and we guarantee there will be no lull in attending to this, Mr. Speaker. As I sat back, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to the presentation made by the Honorable Prime Minister on this year's estimates, I believe that there is so much in there for the young people of St. Lucia and our athletes that he can indeed set all in motion. He can do like all young people are doing in the dance halls and on playing fields, on parties all over. He can cover his face with his 2 hands and he can shake it to the max, Mr. Speaker.
I want to see that.
And the member from Barbados says she wants to see that. What has been presented for youth and sports development by this Prime Minister can cause all to do the dance and be happy that their future is bright with this St. Lucia Labour Party government, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, all the time. When we look at the estimates and we pay close attention to what happened in 2024, we have no doubt that 2025 shapes up to be an even better year. Mr. Speaker, in 2024, we took the bold step that we as a government would invest in Julian Alfred. We saw what she did, Mr. Speaker, and we remember under the member for Denry North that while she attended school in Jamaica, that he attempted to put things in place for her, a process that when we demeted office was stopped. But this St. Lucia Labour Party government, being a people-centered government, ensured that nearly $250,000 was placed in the budget to ensure the transition from the collegiate circuit into the professional circuit for Julian Alfred. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. During that time, Julian Alfred worked hard. She worked tirelessly, Mr. Speaker. She persevered. She went through the trials and tribulations. But this government ensured that on a monthly basis that she was given the financial support to pay for physiotherapy, to pay for mental training, to pay for whatever personal needs she had, so that she had only one job. Only one job. Go out there and perform to the best of your ability. And so, Mr. Speaker, we saw what happened, Mr. Speaker, at the Olympic Games. St. Lucia rose to the top through our sensation from the community of Cicero in Castries South, first ever gold and silver Olympic medal. And so, Mr. Speaker, we can say to our athletes that if you do your part, with this government of St. Lucia, we'll certainly provide the support for you. And I'll get into that a little bit later. What else happened in 2024-2025? Mr. Speaker, as the Minister of Youth Development and Sport, we ensured that for the first time in St. Lucia's history, we instituted a high-performance center for cricket, Mr. Speaker. We knew what we saw over the years. Darren Sammy, Johnson Charles, Zeta James, Kiana Joseph, Gary Maffre, and a list of others showed that truly St. Lucia has what it takes to produce world-class cricketers. But never before did we have a strategic high-performance center. Mr. Speaker, we identified a problem. Most of our cricketers, when they left secondary school, or they competed at under 19 levels, they went into the work world and had to balance the rigors of cricket development, their work, and sometimes their families. We identified the problem, Mr. Speaker. And so we said, let us provide a high-performance center so that these individuals have an additional option. They have the option of being compensated at the end of the month and being part of a program that will provide mental training, the physical training, and of course, Mr. Speaker, the talent identification to push them forward. And so, Mr. Speaker, we instituted the High Performance Center. We currently have 18 players, Mr. Speaker, in the High Performance Center. We have 2 females, Mr. Speaker, Nerissa Crafton, Selena Ross, and of course, there's a process of graduation. The likes of Zeta James now has a full contract with West Indies, Kiana Joseph, full contract with West Indies, and so they've graduated and moved on to the professional. But, Mr. Speaker, I will say to the National Lotteries and this team that we must ensure that we have more women in this high performance center. We must. 16 males, Mr. Speaker. 3 development players, including Kensley Paul, Isaiah Jones, and Bolton Sayers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we provide each of these individuals with a stipend of $1,500 at the end of every month, Mr. Speaker. At the end of every month. Mr. Speaker, some of these individuals are still participating in the work world, but they have as an option an additional $1,500 to go towards improving who they are as athletes, Mr. Speaker. And I'm very happy that the member for Choiseul walked in, Mr. Speaker, because we will be discussing why it is that an honest document that has shown unemployment at its lowest level can additionally show that individuals seem to be doing other things, Mr. Speaker. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Mr. Speaker, 11 of those players, male and female, are actively involved in regional and international cricket for the first time, the most in St. Lucia's history, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in 2024-2025, boxing development continued in this country, Mr. Speaker. Boxing as a sport has shown the ability to instill discipline in young people. And as such, Mr. Speaker, we continued our development in the South and in the North, Mr. Speaker. Our Cuban coach, along with Mr. David Shakes Christopher, Mr. Speaker, and Conrad Fredericks, continue to instill discipline in young people through boxing. And as such, boxing and chess continue to be the fastest developing sports in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. The numbers show it. More parents are sending their young ones to these programs. And as a result, we have something to be proud of as Noah Didier continues to do his thing and put St. Lucia on the map in the sport of boxing in the region. Mr. Speaker, sometimes I have brief moments of reflection, and I stop as a young minister and ask what was going on in sports development during the reign of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Speaker. Because we've seen cricket splash throughout St. Lucia. We saw for years that a young man was struggling to put together a semblance of compensation for cricketers in St. Lucia. But it took this Prime Minister, along with this team, to finally invest in semi-professional cricket in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. Yo te la pou sek l'année, yo pate fe. Not one level of support of substance to a semi-professional cricket league. Not even mentioned. Despite the fact that you could walk all around this country, from birth, cricket is played in every corner. Tape ball cricket, Mr. Speaker, Wule Laba, many of us would have played it. No investment in semi-professional cricket. It took this government to invest nearly $700,000 in player compensation for the semi-professional cricket league, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in 2024-2025, we again as a ministry did the analysis, Mr. Speaker, because sports is all-encompassing. And if you look at our athletes, St. Lucia historically seemed to produce slimmer, slender, more frail-looking athletes. But when we beat them on the track, we're beating them. That's the history of St. Lucia. But, Mr. Speaker, we knew that we had to invest in strength training. And if you took some time and went to the Mindo Phillip Park, you will see what passed off as a gym for athletes. You would see videos of Julian Alfred when she's in St. Lucia with the most rusty of gym equipments. This government invested $1.2 million in strength for training in our athletes, Mr. Speaker. And very soon, Mr. Speaker, we'll be cutting the ribbon at a brand new Mindo Phillip Park gym. And we've already cut the ribbon, Mr. Speaker, at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium, where our athletes can be involved in strengthening themselves and giving even more licks at the regional and international level. Mr. Speaker, yo pate fei. They did nothing about strengthening our athletes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it was this government, under the stewardship of the member for Castries East. Mr. Speaker, sometimes when you hear the opposition speak, you would swear they were not in government and they didn't make certain pronouncements. They promised to remove VAT from 15% and bring it all the way down to 12, not to remove it. They said they were bringing it down to 12 and then they were going to remove it. Initially, they said they were completely removing VAT, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we saw a period where sporting equipment in this country continued, the cost of it continued to rise year after year after year. They promised to completely remove that. Mr. Speaker, can you believe? Not even on sporting equipment, 1% of that was removed, Mr. Speaker. 2%, 3%, 0.5%. It took this government to come in and feel the plight of our young athletes and completely remove that on sporting equipment for them. Completely. Mr. Speaker, yo te la pou sek l'année. Yo pate fei. Mr. Speaker, we have associations that have been trying to set up the secretariats because you need a place where you have, you know, a little meeting room so that the association, the president, the executive can actually meet, Mr. Speaker, to get things done strategically for our athletes. Mr. Speaker, they keep talking about taxes, but it was this government who came in and completely removed property taxes on the backs of any sporting secretariat in this country, Mr. Speaker. And so now the Olympic Committee office that is in Leclerc, no worry, moving forward as it pertains to property tax. Mr. Speaker, yo te la pour sec l'année.
Speaker.
Yo pas te fait.
Speaker.
Member for Swazell, my apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it took me a little while to respond on a point of order, but the member is misleading the House when he indicates that the last administration did nothing as it relates to assist in the sporting fraternity. Mr. Speaker, as I've mentioned before, we amended the Finance Act to ensure that people who were bringing in sporting and recreational services were going to get duty-free at the ports. At least they continued with the VAT, but we did, Mr. Speaker, commence and we amended the Finance Act to adjust a number of disciplines, and sporting and recreational services was one of them, where we removed income duty. Thank you.
Member for Grosley.
Mr. Speaker, another desperate attempt, Mr. Speaker, to derail the fact that they were there for 5 years and many of the promises that they made, many of the things they promised and they tried to vegle people, they did not do it, Mr. Speaker. And now, Mr. Speaker, we are in... Mr. Speaker, I'll move on. I'll move on. Because these small token, very small tokens that they gave to athletes, while sports was on autopilot in terms of the substance of developing youth and sports, remained as a non-priority for the previous government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we also saw, Mr. Speaker, significant investments, Mr. Speaker, in sport for the Taiwanese government. Very happy to say that we were able to get almost $500,000 in sporting equipment that we distributed, Mr. Speaker, throughout St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. Don't worry, I come into that. Don't worry, come into that. And so, Mr. Speaker, the investment was made to the Ministry of Youth Development and Sport, and for every single association, there's a mechanism in place, an application process based on the needs in the community to strategically get in there and get access to sporting equipment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, while they try to espouse some of the very little tokens that they gave to sports development, Mr. Speaker, this government, with this Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, with the experience of a member for Castries North, and a load of experience in sports from the member from Castries South, and a former minister from Denry North, Mr. Speaker. It was this government who saw the need not to just give little tokens here and there, but to establish semi-professional football in this country, Mr. Speaker. Stand on a point of order. Stand. Semi-professional football. And when a member can now decide, member from Choiseul, can now go to the economic review and speak to low labor force participation, it means he hasn't understood. He has not understood what this Minister of Finance has done to transform St. Lucia forever, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there were young men who decided, I have talent in football. So instead of me taking my talent, pushing it on the side, and going and try and see if I can tile somewhere, or going to try and see if I can be a little carpenter somewhere, have a government now that has invested in my skill. And so now I am going to play semi-professional football. You pass a coupon, sir, Mr. Speaker. They cannot understand the symbiosis of governance in this country, Mr. Speaker. They cannot understand how policies change an entire nation, Mr. Speaker. And so the member for Choiseul is talking about labor force. I don't even finish with that yet. Mr. Speaker, we instituted semi-professional football, Mr. Speaker. And so it was our first year, Mr. Speaker. Lots of glitches, Mr. Speaker. A lot to learn from, Mr. Speaker. But we as a government, Mr. Speaker, we continue to do our best to continue to nurture those young men, Mr. Speaker, and get them off the streets, Mr. Speaker. Not tokenism, real youth and sports development, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia became the first country, the first English-speaking country in the entire Caribbean to host a CONCACAF Congress, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't even know if the opposition understands the nature of that fact. Mr. Speaker, for you to host a Congress of that magnitude and to host the likes of FIFA President, Mr. Speaker, Gianni Infantino, they have to do a full investigation of your entire landscape. A full investigation. Do you have the room stock? Do you have proper conference areas? Are you able to fund? Is your economy in a particular state that ensures that all the logistics are taken care of? Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia, the small island of St. Lucia that I am a product of, Mr. Speaker. We didn't need to bring anybody from any other country to show us how to host a Congress. We had all the potential in the world right here in St. Lucia. And we hosted a successful CONCACAF Congress, Mr. Speaker, right here in St. Lucia. And Mr. Speaker, I saw the Honorable Prime Minister shaking hands with Infantino and whispering that he's a Manchester United fan. And I could have sworn I heard Infantino say, just so? And so, Mr. Speaker, we continue to develop in every facet of sports development, Mr. Speaker. In 2024, Mr. Speaker, we also hosted the ICC Cricket World Cup, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the story of the Cricket World Cup would take an hour to explain the time frame with which this happened. Mr. Speaker, Cricket West Indies made a request for countries to host the World Cup. Again, anybody with knowledge of hosting would know that a total investigation of all the logistics would be done as to whether or not you can be a host. And of course, when they visited St. Lucia, they indicated to St. Lucia that the Darren Sammy Stadium, while it was a good stadium, needed to be upgraded, updated for the technology that would be needed to host this event, Mr. Speaker. And so, when they came out with their list of what was required, countries like Jamaica backed out. Dominica decided they were hosting. Then they came back and said, we don't have the economic power right now to do it. St. Kitts, Mr. Speaker, this government looked at what was needed. We saw the investment, and we had the holistic view of the entire country as it pertained to not just cricket, but sports and facility development. And so, Mr. Speaker, we took the bold decision that we were going to host the Cricket World Cup, and that we are going to help the National Lotteries Authority by guaranteeing a loan that would develop the Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds into a world-class stadium, develop the Mindu Phillip Park that was ignored for 5+ years because of a particular doctrine, Mr. Speaker. And we would finally be able to do something at the Grosley playing field, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, yes, 6 years, I stand corrected. And so, Mr. Speaker, the initial investment was to develop these 3 facilities. Oh, and you started hearing the cry. Only Bindu Philip Park, only Darren Sammy. You spent all guesstimating and saying things all over the place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, St. Lucia put on one of the best displays for that entire Cricket World Cup, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a light display that you can only go to India and see was right here in Grosley, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Bindu Philip Park, Mr. Speaker, brand new lights, Mr. Speaker, better facilities at the Bindu Philip Park, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I always invite everybody to come to the most beautiful place on earth and take a trip to the Grosley Mini Stadium and see the works that we put in at the Grosley Mini Stadium. Just take some time. It's not very far. And Mr. Speaker, they went all over because every time they see something good is happening for St. Lucia, they feel like they must speak against it in some way, shape, or form, Mr. Speaker. They don't like it. They are the enemy of progress. So they go to Darren Sammy only and they say $80 million on this. And then they go to Grosley and they say $80 million on this. They go to Bindu Philip Park and say $80 million on this. But here's what's going to happen. They're going to have to go to the Auger playing field, the Piero playing field, the Wen playing field, Mr. Speaker. I don't reach it. The Bexar playing field, Mr. Speaker. They will have to go to 12 different venues, Mr. Speaker. The Leclerc playing field, Mr. Speaker. I get there. You're all brushing me. Relax. Mr. Speaker, to see the investment that this government is making on transforming the entire sporting landscape in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we then hosted the Caribbean Premier League, Mr. Speaker, and we had the likes of John Eugene, Mr. Speaker, join the coaching staff. Of course, head coach Darren Sammy. Johnson Charles continued to do his thing. We saw Akibo Geese, Mr. Speaker. Shadrach Descat, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, for the first time, St. Lucia Kings, champions of the Caribbean Premier League, Mr. Speaker. Champions. Mr. Speaker, there's an argument as to whether or not is the Honorable Prime Minister that just have a Midas touch that makes sure that everything we do, we win. Or if it is the Minister of Sports that just seem to have that deal. Mr. Speaker, in 2024-2025, we won, Mr. Speaker, again, the volleyball championships, the OECS women. Mr. Speaker, our women continue to do us proud, Mr. Speaker. Champions in volleyball, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we also realized that the sum total of individuals, young people involved in things that were not necessarily cricket and football and track and field and basketball, that these individuals were left behind. And so, Mr. Speaker, we ensured that we put in place an alternative sports sector, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, now you're seeing, Mr. Speaker, better organized darts competition, drag racing, dominoes, Mr. Speaker, shooting, Mr. Speaker, sport shooting, Mr. Speaker, and of course chess. Membership for chess, very close to 500 young individuals in the sport of chess in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. Unheard of before this government, Mr. Speaker. While I'm at it, let me say congratulations to Dr. Sixtus Gabriel, Justin James. They were newly confirmed as candidate masters in the sport of chess, Mr. Speaker. And we continue to rise, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, we will continue to do what we need to do to support the alternative sports sector. It is not easy, but we will do the hard work that we need to do to continue to develop alternative sports. Mr. Speaker, in 2024-2025, we realize that we need to develop our young people not just on the playing field, but we need to give them another opportunity to develop personally. And so, Mr. Speaker, we partnered with the Taiwanese government and we instituted for the first time in St. Lucia's history. And here, Shai Fuston. They were there for 5 years, you know. For the first time in St. Lucia's history, a sport program. The sport program was in collaboration with the National Skills Development Program Center, so that young athletes who may have gone through the CXC process and not succeeded, may have started a program and not succeeded, they can go to the NSDC and reskill for the first time. Go to NSDC and learn basic mechanics, learn basic massage therapy. And so, Mr. Speaker, 50 sportsmen and women, Mr. Speaker, ages 16 to 35 years, that's the concept, Mr. Speaker. Employability training provided to them, first aid, hospitality, massage therapy, agriculture, internship opportunities, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, when again the member for Choiseul speaks about labor force participation.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Choiseul Southwest.
Mr. Speaker, again, the member is misleading the House. The member has indicated for the first time NSDC has produced skill training or upskill training. That is not true. NSDC has been providing skill training for decades, Mr. Speaker.
Is that what he said, member?
Mr. Speaker.
I didn't hear him say that.
Mr. Speaker, I'll say it again. For the first time in St. Lucia's history, a program was developed with the NSDC for individuals participating specifically in sports who may have not gotten all the CXCs and the Sir Lewis qualifications to now go back and reskill through the NSDC, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they had no ideas. They had no ideas. Mr. Speaker, we continue our high performance program for our young footballers. We had the likes of Coach Stuart Charles and Ball Hog, Mr. Speaker, Earl Ball Hog Ja in St. Lucia after their professional lives in Trinidad, came back to this country, and the Honorable Prime Minister, along with the National Lotteries, engaged them so that they can take the next generation of footballers, the younger ones, to the next level in that sport, Mr. Speaker. That sport continues to yield good results, and we're very satisfied with the progress, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I move on, we continue to institute the Elite and Emerging Athlete Program, Mr. Speaker. A program, Mr. Speaker, that we definitely need to go back to the drawing board and ensure that there is even more financing, considering the fact that we are increasing the amount of elite and emerging athletes in this country, Mr. Speaker. I will come to that a little later on. We continue our field maintenance program, Mr. Speaker, and of course, training for these individuals, Mr. Speaker, will be provided this financial year to ensure that they better maintain our playing surfaces, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we had also our sports awards, Mr. Speaker, recognizing our top athletes, and again, a program very well instituted by the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports. Mr. Speaker, in the sport of table tennis, for the first time, Mr. Speaker, they don't like to hear that, huh? Pan American Youth Games, we have a contingent that has qualified, Mr. Speaker. Congratulations to Manny Elite, Joshua. Manny Elite is from the constituency of Grusley. Yes. Piat. LeSean Francis, Stephen Steele. Mr. Speaker, despite what was espoused by the opposition, I just cannot understand how a group of individuals who want to come into the governance of this country, re-enter the actual governance of this country, can just take one news report from an individual that they purport. He's not a card-carrying member of the St. Lucia Labour Party. He's never been. one news report and go all over the world and say there is no school sports in St. Lucia. They didn't call the ministry, they didn't investigate, while in their doorsteps, some of them with balconies overlooking the playing field, school sports is happening. Mr. Speaker, here's what happened. The Ministry of Youth Development and Sports is a very small ministry. The individual who is in charge of mobilizing for school sports had a special circumstance which disallowed her from being at work. All the ministry did was move certain disciplines, because we had a staffing issue, and two other individuals were not there, into the next term. Mr. Speaker, they went all over, and they have the gall, the temerity to actually say school sports started after they made the pronouncement, which is a blatant untruth, Mr. Speaker, blatant. But I can announce to St. Lucia that every single sporting discipline was held in school sports in that financial year, Mr. Speaker. All of them. All. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we had Island Champs. Another novel idea by this government in terms of the implementation on the weekends in Soufrière, Mr. Speaker. We had inter-district primary. We had road race, Mr. Speaker. We had netball. We had football. We had cricket. We had basketball, Mr. Speaker. We had volleyball, Mr. Speaker. We had chess, Mr. Speaker. So, irresponsible pronouncements, Mr. Speaker, knowing the truth and ignoring it. Mr. Speaker, in the year 2024, we made a number of infrastructural investments, Mr. Speaker, and we have a lot of ongoing projects, Mr. Speaker. We did, Mr. Speaker, the Darren Sammy Cricket Grounds, as I mentioned. We did some work on the Philip Masley Grounds, Mr. Speaker, as well, Mr. Speaker, and so we saw semi-professional cricket there. Mr. Speaker, we still have work to do on one of the roofs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Bellevue playing field, Mr. Speaker, we continued work at the Bellevue playing field. Mr. Speaker, the Wen playing field is coming on nicely, and so we are about to work on the surface. We see the lights. Mr. Speaker, you can see from a very long distance at the Wen playing field, Mr. Speaker. The crossover park in Labrie, we continue to do that work there, Mr. Speaker. Mindo Philip Park, which was ignored for a very long time, Mr. Speaker. We've done work at the Mindo Philip Park, yet still you can do yeah, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Grand Riviere playing field, Mr. Speaker. We've done some work at the Grand Riviere playing field. We're getting ready to reopen the Grand Riviere playing field. We did some work on the surface. We did some lights, Mr. Speaker. And on the outside, I need to tell the people of Grand Riviere we're not blocking off the entire field. We are thinking in the future. We've created some advertising bays that would allow people to advertise, and that finances goes straight into the maintenance of the Grand Riviere playing field, Mr. Speaker. Same concept used, Mr. Speaker, in as many playing fields as we can in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Grosley playing field, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Grosley, you have 15 minutes left.
Mr. Speaker, the Otago Court, Mr. Speaker. We've done some work on the Otago Court, Mr. Speaker, and we've not done the ribbon cutting, but we will do it very, very soon, as we had to get the electrical permits, Mr. Speaker. The Canries playing field, Mr. Speaker. We've done some work on the Canries playing field, Mr. Speaker. The VG playing field, it's not a far drive. I want to let the people from Central Castries know that they will not be blocked from seeing what's happening in football matches on the field, Mr. Speaker. The design ensures that, Mr. Speaker. The Cicero playing field, the honourable member has partnered and has put in a lot of resources from his CDP, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that the Cicero playing field is transformed, Mr. Speaker. Sitting, Mr. Speaker, with a toilet facility, Mr. Speaker, with lights, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he understands what it is in sports development, the partnership with the national lotteries to get this done, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Masha grounds, Mr. Speaker. We saw what Masha grounds was before, Mr. Speaker. We need to show that before. That's before. This is the after, Mr. Speaker. We had an issue for years in Masha where individuals were able to punch and destroy the galvanized, Mr. Speaker. We've raised the bar, Mr. Speaker, in Masha, Mr. Speaker. And of course, the Honorable Prime Minister, under his insistence, ensured that it was done for the people of Masha, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we continue, Mr. Speaker, in terms of our sporting development. Mr. Speaker, concrete work has started, Mr. Speaker, on our National Aquatic Center, Mr. Speaker, and we are looking to move full speed ahead, Mr. Speaker, as we continue to develop that sport, Mr. Speaker. And so the upcoming projects for 2024-2025, Mr. Speaker, much of it using the $80 million loan guarantee, Mr. Speaker. We have 90 playing fields in this country, Mr. Speaker. 129 courts in this island, Mr. Speaker. There's only so many you can actually do, Mr. Speaker. But work continues in partnership with lotteries, with the Grand Ravine playing field, Mr. Speaker. The OJ playing field will be given lights this financial year, Mr. Speaker. The Philip Massey ground roof, Mr. Speaker, will be repaired. The Clary playing field stands, Mr. Speaker, and the washroom, Mr. Speaker. The Dennery washrooms come in, Mr. Speaker. They had no stands for the people, Mr. Speaker, in Dennery. We have given them stands. We are going to cordon off the stands so it protects us from the rain, and we are giving them their washroom facility, Mr. Speaker. The Deborah playing field in the constituency of Babonneau, Mr. Speaker, and we continue works, Mr. Speaker, on the Laguerre playing field, Mr. Speaker. For court sports, we will be doing some work on the Bosejo indoor facility to make it more comfortable through air conditioning units, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Gardens Court in Central Castries, work is scheduled to start in the coming weeks, if not next week, Mr. Speaker. We've seen the VG playing field. The Labon Court, Mr. Speaker, is one we look forward to in the constituency of Grosley. The Piero playing field, Bexar playing field, Leon Hess playing field, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we've always spoken about the culture of sports in St. Lucia. But it's very difficult to change the culture of sports in St. Lucia if people do not understand the sports development paradigm that the Ministry of Youth Development and Sports is instituting, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sports development in St. Lucia is a pyramid, Mr. Speaker. And this is the model that we are using. At the foundation of the pyramid, Mr. Speaker, is grassroots, Mr. Speaker. And so people often ask, how do I get involved in sports? You can come at the grassroots. The grassroots is for everybody. The young children, Mr. Speaker, on the fields, Mr. Speaker, participating in different little, drills, Mr. Speaker. It includes the general public, beginners, especially children, allows to introduce basic skills, encourage mass participation in the communities, Mr. Speaker. Participation is the next level, Mr. Speaker. You have recreational athletes, Mr. Speaker, engaging in regular but not too competitive activities, Mr. Speaker. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, you have regular involvement in sport retention, Mr. Speaker. Weekly football leagues. Again, all of St. Lucia can get involved in this, Mr. Speaker. As you go higher up, the performance level, Mr. Speaker. This is where you focus on athletes showing their talent and commitment. You provide advanced training, competitive opportunities to develop skills. You have regional academies, talent identifications. You have inter-school competitions, Mr. Speaker, at the performance level, Mr. Speaker. This is where we need more participation, Mr. Speaker, more people getting involved. And then, of course, we have the elite athletes, Mr. Speaker, some of which are in our midst, that we provide government support for, Mr. Speaker, as they go to the Olympics level, Mr. Speaker, and beyond, Mr. Speaker. And so we are expecting more and more people to get involved. Mr. Speaker, there are some key policy investments that we are going to make, Mr. Speaker, in 2025-2026. One of them is a consultancy for the development of alumni associations at all schools, Mr. Speaker, in this country. For us to develop our product, we must get people involved in sports that are not necessarily of sports backgrounds. So from Hess, the individual who has some HR experience, some PR experience, bringing them in to develop the product in the school, Mr. Speaker. And so North, South, East, and West will make that investment so we can have an even better inter-school program, Mr. Speaker. Injury Management Fund. And this is very important for our athletes, Mr. Speaker. Again, we never had an actual injury management program for athletes in St. Lucia. All of us know an individual that had talent and skill and had one injury, and that was it. Mr. Speaker, with the national lotteries, Mr. Speaker, we are going to put this fund together, Mr. Speaker, just like a sovereign wealth fund, Mr. Speaker, make monthly contributions. So if any of these athletes get injured, Mr. Speaker, there is a mechanism, there is a form to fill out, there's a process for them to manage the injuries, Mr. Speaker. Tell them stand up and say they were doing that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in our youth department, Mr. Speaker, we continue to invest in our youth service corps, Mr. Speaker. Our young individuals, Mr. Speaker, who continue to go throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia to provide support for young people, Mr. Speaker. 42 young people within the educational and public institutions are employed, Mr. Speaker. We have youth workers, Mr. Speaker, who continue to do the best that they can. We're certainly hoping for more collaboration, Mr. Speaker, with as many of the parliamentary representatives and stakeholders to continue this, Mr. Speaker. Under the youth department, Mr. Speaker, we instituted Youth Parliament, again, Mr. Speaker, to give young people an opportunity to speak, to come out here, Mr. Speaker, and show some public speaking skills, do some research, be intellectually sound, Mr. Speaker. Again, a very well executed event. Thanks to Mr. Speaker and his staff for assisting with this, Mr. Speaker. We also held, Mr. Speaker, successful youth awards. Mr. Speaker, 24 young, vibrant individuals, Mr. Speaker, were recipients of prestigious awards. Mr. Speaker, again, very well done by the ministry with stakeholders. A small ministry, but getting it done, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, elections matter. The Why We program, Mr. Speaker, that was funded, Mr. Speaker, by the U.S. government, Mr. Speaker. We started work in communities, Mr. Speaker, to help fight against gender-based violence and interpersonal violence. But we saw what happened in the U.S. An election was held, Mr. Speaker, and that program scrapped by the government in the U.S. And so we continue to seek funding to ensure that we put this very worthwhile activity together, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there's so much more that we've done over the last year, Mr. Speaker. The U report from the OECS, Mr. Speaker. This is a digital platform designed by UNICEF to engage young people in program priorities, emergency response and advocacy actions, Mr. Speaker. It supports adolescents, young people, Mr. Speaker. It breeds community participation, works as a tool to share information and raise awareness, Mr. Speaker. It also ensures that we collect quantifiable data on what's happening with our young people, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, with OECS, we continue to partner with the U report, Mr. Speaker. And of course, the platform is there for young people to access, Mr. Speaker. Also, the YAN, the Youth Advisory Network, we continue to work with the OECS, Mr. Speaker. 2 young individuals from each community country, Mr. Speaker, continues to be part of that program, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Oasis Opportunities to Advance and Support Youth for Success, Mr. Speaker, is another program that is very, very important, Mr. Speaker. Young people need to get involved as much as possible.
Member, you have 5 minutes left. Of government business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that Standing Orders 32.8 be suspended to allow the honourable member at least half an hour to complete his presentation.
Honourable members, the question is that Standing Order 32.8 be suspended and Standing Order 32.10 be implemented to allow the member for Grosley an additional 30 minutes in which to complete his presentation. And now for the question, as many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Please proceed, member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I haven't spoken about Grosley. Mr. Speaker, The Oasis, Mr. Speaker, opportunity to advance and support youth success, Mr. Speaker, is a very important program, Mr. Speaker, with the OACS, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, the overarching goal is to build on the juvenile justice reform project, Mr. Speaker. And it is to transform the youth justice system to provide opportunities for diversion, rehabilitation, alternative forms of that, Mr. Speaker, for youth in conflict with the law. And so that program continues for young people between the ages of 10 to 29, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there were certain things said, Mr. Speaker, by the member of Chozel Saltibus, Mr. Speaker, in his presentation that I found extremely curious, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, allow me to provide some clarity, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I came to this honorable House some time ago and ensured that I made this a document of the House of what happened in July 2021. A document was signed on the eve of an election to change the terms and conditions of a contract, Mr. Speaker, with Cage as it pertained to license fees. Mr. Speaker, as a result of that contract signed by the previous, Mr. Speaker, authority, Mr. Speaker, the amount that we were getting in license fees from Cage decreased. And these license fees are the same fees we use to provide support to these athletes, Mr. Speaker. These license fees. These license fees are used for when President Dora sends an application for a national team to travel. These license fees allows us to decide how many can travel based on what comes in the coffers. Based on their agreement, Mr. Speaker, that percentage went down, Mr. Speaker. I came to this honorable House, I made it a document of the House, Mr. Speaker. This same document, signed in July 2021, on the eve of an election, allowed Cage to pay no taxes, Mr. Speaker. It said from that document that even VAT, Mr. Speaker, I made it a document of this House, Mr. Speaker. And so, when Cage, because you need that clarity, had to upgrade some of their gambling devices, they brought in everything they had to, and they have a right to. They are a business. They did nothing that they were not given the authority to by the previous administration. And every single tax that was supposed to be paid, they made the justification for it not to be based on that agreement. And so, Mr. Speaker, I took it to the Cabinet of Ministers. They understood what was required for young people to represent us at Carifta and at the World Championships. The bloodline of the athletic development reduced. And so this government said, based on the amount of fees that have been forgone, we are making a contribution tantamount to that amount. So when you ask how is a government putting that money in, it is a government that understands we need to breed more J.D. Emmanuels, Mr. Speaker. And that's a fact. Mr. Speaker, the member for Chozel brought up batting cages, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I always feel like I can have sidebars with members of this House. On any side. On any side, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want the member of Chozel to stand and rise and say that he doesn't get a proportion of every ticket that is given for constituencies to attend sporting events at the Daransami. I ask him to rise on a point of order and look at this honorable House and me in the face and say, when we have Cricket World Cup, he and the member for Miku South don't get a text message from this Minister of Youth and Sports indicating a quantum of tickets is available for you to provide to your constituents. I don't know if they want me to make texts a document at the house. Check it. Check it. Check it. Mr. Speaker, this was not done. These courtesies were not given to members of this party that were on the opposite side, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's a fact. Mr. Speaker, at every juncture, and I can say to the member for Miku South that they have sent individuals from his office to collect tickets from the Ministry of Youth Development and Sport. I'm coming to that. So, Mr. Speaker, batting nets, Mr. Speaker. The National Lotteries received a quantum of batting nets, Mr. Speaker. And to this day, Grosile has not installed their batting nets, Mr. Speaker. Castries South, Soufre, Labrie, Beaufort North, and Surrey, Canries, Mr. Speaker. I said to the honorable member, we are putting things in place considering the amount of work going on in this country. We are putting things in place, but we have not gotten to the point of installing batting nets. I said to the member in that sidebar, but you are free at any point in time to collect from the national lotteries on behalf of your people. On behalf of your people. It is available. We have not installed. After this budget, we will, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there was something else said, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the member for Choiseul said CXC fees. I wonder if it was a sidebar, but he made mention of CXC fees for maths and English and then moving towards additional ones and suggesting that somehow we should stagger and qualify who gets those fees, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the surface, that might make sense to some people because some people may indicate that perhaps Capes State families can pay all the CXCs. But Mr. Speaker, as the member for Grosile, I do not succumb to those perspectives. Mr. Speaker, after the passage of the November 6th trough and certain activities unforeseen, Mr. Speaker, I got requests from all of Grosile, including Capes State, including Monnier, including Rodney Bay and Rodney Heights, for just a little support. So when you suggest irresponsibly that we should, when we give in payments for CXC fees, that certain people can afford it, I totally disagree. That's on one point. I totally disagree because of the cost of implementing who gets what, Mr. Speaker. You're shooting yourself in the foot, Mr. Speaker. For you to go and administer a proximity test on all households with children about to sit CXCs, to find out if to pay for the CXCs, it becomes more expensive, Mr. Speaker. So why suggest that this government do that? But Mr. Speaker, you know what? That is crazy. They were there for 5 years, went into the 6th year, and they didn't pay one CXC, Mr. Speaker. There was no program to pay maths and English, Mr. Speaker. This government has come in, is paying maths and English, and has now said to the young people of this country that if you're doing a foreign language and if you're doing a science, that we are going to pay it for you. Yes. The only retort is, paid for some, not all, because not all need it. But you did it for nobody. Nobody at all. Mr. Speaker, they did it for nobody, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the member for Choiseul Sultans purported
Mr. Speaker,
that
you seem distracted today.
Well, I didn't figure there was anything said there that required a rebuttal, but please proceed, member for Choiseul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, while the member he's misleading because he's very selective in what he chooses to say as what my contribution yesterday. The bigger point I was also making, Mr. Speaker, was that there are families who cannot afford any CXC payments, and then the government should look, not just to give in additional, but to also look at the families who cannot pay anything, because from my constituency, there are times when people come to me where they can't pay anything, and that was the bigger point I was trying to raise, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed, member for Grizzly.
Mr. Speaker, this is why I know I am part of the best government that St. Lucia can have at this present moment, Mr. Speaker. Because I can stand proudly as a member for Grosley and say that the Prime Minister provides finances under the constituency development programs for these very people. These very people. And these members on opposite get the finances for these same people, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, he's standing on a point of order to provide clarity, to show St. Lucia the difference between these two governments, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, a proxy means test, Mr. Speaker, can be administered for these same individuals to provide more support than the 4 subjects, Mr. Speaker. But we are saying to suggest that you only give after is irresponsible, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I'm very, very proud to have provided payments to CXCs, sometimes 7, sometimes 8, for members from my constituency. I wish. So, Mr. Speaker, this member suggested that the St. Lucia Labour Party is a government that has stopped projects. Mr. Speaker, he had the temerity, he had the unmitigated gall to stand up in this House and say that, Mr. Speaker. I recall, Mr. Speaker, the Royal Jail, Mr. Speaker, in Central Castries, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, his government just came and totally destroyed with no plan after the fact. Or if the plan was after the fact, it was somewhere unregistered, Mr. Speaker. No planning approval. Totally ignored the individuals that are charged with the responsibility of managing what's been there for St. Lucia. And totally destroyed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is the government, the previous government, Mr. Speaker, that came in and found plans for building a Grosley Northern Divisional Headquarters, Mr. Speaker. They came in and found the plans, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, you know they have people on the ground in Grosley saying it was their plan. Mr. Speaker, they go in Rivermeter and Labon and Deramo and Grosley Town and lying bold-faced, saying they were the ones with that plan, Mr. Speaker. The plan always in there. Mr. Speaker, we know the only plans they had was for 23 islands, Mr. Speaker. The only development in sports was bringing horses and air conditioning, Mr. Speaker. Full of the Caribbean. That's what the plans were, Mr. Speaker. Full. They did absolutely nothing about a Northern Divisional Headquarters. Yes. Mr. Speaker, there was barely any place to house criminals, Mr. Speaker. I visited there. Mr. Speaker, in a constituency that boasts of so many visitors, of the highest population, Mr. Speaker, they were moving the police officers from one place to the other. And they have the gall to come and talk about government and projects and not implementing and destroying, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there was a Grand Riviere Court started, Mr. Speaker, almost 20 years ago, Mr. Speaker. No, 15 years ago, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker. They came in, they spent 5 years, went into the 6th, Mr. Speaker, and we are completing the Deidre Maffrey Court right now in Grosley, Mr. Speaker. They do nothing, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, sometimes I ask myself, what is really going on, Mr. Speaker? And Mr. Speaker, the member for Choiseul spoke about low labor force participation, Mr. Speaker, and I touched on that briefly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, They cannot even accept the fact that this is the lowest unemployment rate that we've seen in St. Lucia's history, Mr. Speaker. And so, in the quest to somehow delegitimize the figures, they conveniently read. But there's a justification for why things happen the way they do. There's a justification. Mr. Speaker, the transformation that this Minister of Finance has put on the ground, Mr. Speaker, is the explanation. One, Mr. Speaker, there is a trend that is changing as it pertains to young people in St. Lucia. Many young people have come to my office and said to me, Minister, I don't want to go and work there for anybody, you know. I don't want to. I am now prepared to do what I need to do, access the youth economy, access a MSME loan grant, and start my own.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
We come in. Mr. Speaker, all information, Mr. Speaker, is a snapshot of time. It's a snapshot of time, Mr. Speaker. And that's a fact. All those indicators are a snapshot of time. And Mr. Speaker, it's a government that is transcending and transforming and changing the way young people operate in this country, Mr. Speaker. It's a government that is encouraging young people to take their talents, take their skills, and turn it into entrepreneurship, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that information is also a snapshot of time, Mr. Speaker. As more young people get involved in a gig economy, Mr. Speaker. More young people are getting involved in a gig economy. They believe that they have more successes by no longer going and look for work for somebody and developing a skill and work on a needs basis, Mr. Speaker. That's a fact. Young people come to the office on Wednesday and say that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some young people, Mr. Speaker, are reskilling. Because it's true. They don't understand. They are reskilling, Mr. Speaker. When you have a government that has pumped money into an MSME program and a youth economy, and young people are sitting there and saying, wow, these are opportunities. Let me take a year and reskill. Let me just tap into that little innate ability to plumb and go to NSDC and learn. Let me take the opportunity to learn a little more about carpentry, Mr. Speaker. That's what they cannot understand. They are reskilling because of the work of this government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is the government that has insisted on one university per graduate in every household, Mr. Speaker.
Full potential.
Mr. Speaker, there are more young people extending their times at school in this country, Mr. Speaker. And that's a fact. More young people are choosing to go to university because the opportunities are being provided by this government, Mr. Speaker. And there are longer periods of education, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will never forget, Mr. Speaker, the day I sat in my office. A young lady came in, Mr. Speaker, had a very good conversation, and said to me that she is also considering right now staying at home, Mr. Speaker. And I asked, but why is that, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, her explanation was that her husband is doing so well in construction. So well in construction. He has so much work that she needs to stay home and take care of the family, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these are things and realities that are happening in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. Realities. So when you wonder why labor force participation seems to be, dwindling, and then we have unemployment, there are explanations for that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, some of us do not want to accept the fact that this country is doing well, and so very well. They will continue to look for every avenue to discredit the work of this government. But Mr. Speaker, I want to say that with this government, we've continued to work hard on behalf of our people, Mr. Speaker. I guess we'll get an explanation for why in July 2021, the terms and conditions with Cage were changed.
Member, you have 15 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Why it was changed, I guess we'll get that information, which depleted the resources there at the National Lotteries. Because on the eve of an election, my brother, I don't know. I hope we will explain, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, on a more somber note, Mr. Speaker, please grant me leave to express sincere condolences to the Alexis family on the passing of their mom, Catherine Mommy Cato Alexis, Mr. Speaker. She was an absolute pillar in the constituency, Mr. Speaker. And she's someone that will be truly, truly missed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it was only a couple of weeks ago we celebrated her 83rd birthday, and I hugged her and I kissed her. And she was so proud, as an original Jog Rosalie, to see this original young man from the constituency, born and bred, become who he's become. I want to say to the Alexis family, thank you for your support. Stay strong. Continue to be there for one another. And we have the Deputy Secretary General in our midst, Honorable Armstrong Alexis. Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, yeah, I didn't say for CARICOM, yes, Deputy Secretary General. What's that? CARICOM. For CARICOM, with Deputy Secretary. For CARICOM, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand before you as a very proud Minister of Youth Development and Sport. Very proud, Mr. Speaker. It is a fact that youth amounts to more than 60% of the population of St. Lucia. That is from Grosley in the north to Viewfort in the south, Dennery in the east to Anslow in the west, and all communities and constituencies in between. Mr. Speaker, 65 clubs registered in St. Lucia in terms of football only. 50 registered youth organizations. And Mr. Speaker, they know that this Minister of Youth Development and Sports would do anything to see them flourish, Mr. Speaker. They know that, Mr. Speaker. I'm not perfect, Mr. Speaker, by any stretch of the imagination. My ministry is far from perfect as well. But we continue to punch above our weight, Mr. Speaker, as we seek to continue to develop this great nation, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, allow me to once again thank all the people of Grosley for their support. This Prime Minister has ensured that some of the basic issues are being dealt in this financial year. The people of Labon, who the Prime Minister met months before the election and promised them that they were going to get their land, Mr. Speaker. These people who have been on their lands for more than 30 years, Mr. Speaker, are finally going to get their lands under this administration. The same in Deramo, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the same in Rivière-Mita, Mr. Speaker, and Montsepa, these areas with crown lands, Mr. Speaker. This is happening under this administration, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all the people of Grosley, including the 4 main polling areas, Grosley Town and all the communities therein, Edgewater, Cap Estate, Massad, Casaba, Beausejour, Rodney Bay, Rodney Heights, Ragery, Moshi and all the communities within that quarter, Labon, Deramo, Monsitor, Tidofe, Rivière-Mita, Lafay, Maguetut, Ravin-Macoc, Moshi proper, Kaimaje, Moulava, Karef, Grand Rivière, and the other 11 main communities within, including Vesikwi, White Rock, Postlewaite, Asso Canal, Piat, Monnier, Grand Rivière proper, Montsepa, Inglewood, Degazo, and Corinth, Marisil, Bois-de-Vosges, which is the most densely populated area in the entire OECS. Communities from Boyan Drive, Corinth Estate, where the Honourable Member lives, Emerald Development, Norbert, Marisil, Bonnet, Tuya, Monjuro, Badawaj, Sugar City, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, if you were keeping count, 45 communities in constant need of attention by their humble servant, Mr. Speaker. But I love all of them, Mr. Speaker. And I would do anything in my power to split myself in 45 for all of them, Mr. Speaker. And they know that. In their heart of hearts, even those on the other side admit that they know that this is a hard-working member of Parliament for Grosley, Mr. Speaker. They know that. Even when they call and they don't get me, when they get me, they say, boy, you really working, eh? They admit it, Mr. Speaker. So while some profit the opportunity, while you work so hard with a government to provide a better future for them and their family,
For their father too.
they go around and espouse and lie to their faces about what's happening in this community, Mr. Speaker, in this country. They go door to door to your families and they say the most untruth to try to bring back the former Prime Minister who did nothing for them, Mr. Speaker. Nothing.
That's not nice.
They go through the lengths and breadths of the community, Mr. Speaker. Untruth after untruth, Mr. Speaker. And they act as if they are different from the previous member from Grosley, while they do the same thing. They act as if they're different from the former Prime Minister, but they surreptitiously do the same things.
Like Bradley.
They surreptitiously endorse the same things that we rescued them from, Mr. Speaker.
Bradley.
They go throughout the length of breath while you are working, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to be part of a constituency of thinkers, Mr. Speaker. They know the truth, Mr. Speaker. They know who they voted for, Mr. Speaker. So I thank all of them for their support over the last financial year, and I look forward to continuing the good work in this financial year, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I unwaveringly support this appropriation bill put forward by the member for Castries East. Forward ever, backward never. I thank you.
Member for Castries North. PM, why is Ernest making you laugh by his number? What kind of economy she is?
What?
Why Ernest making you laugh by his number? What kind of economy?
What am I telling you? What do you want?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, No, it's okay. It's good. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this appropriation bill 2526 presented by the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance at Tuesday, 22nd April, sitting of this Parliament. I stand here today, Mr. Speaker, as a proud, confident, and enthusiastic member of this government under the dynamic, steadfast, and brilliant leadership of the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, who has demonstrated his love, commitment, and dedication to the people of St. Lucia as Prime Minister ever since he assumed office in July of 2021. Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister and Minister for Finance has proven time and time again to be caring, to be loving, and to be a conscionable leader, working at all times in the interests of the people of this country. Since becoming a member of Cabinet in his government, Mr. Speaker, upon his invitation, Prime Minister Pierre has proven to be a man of honesty, a man of sincerity, a man of dignity, a man of honor, a man of commitment, a man of dedication. And that, Mr. Speaker, is reflected in his presentation of the Appropriation Bill last Tuesday. He can be trusted. His word is his bound. He holds no vendetta, neither is he vindictive. He cares for his people. Mr. Speaker, I listened attentively to the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance. The member for Castries East delivered his policy statement on the budget last Tuesday under the theme enhancing our infrastructure for security and prosperity. I couldn't but help marvel at the Prime Minister's brilliance, his tenacity and unwavering conviction to the mantra, the clarion call, putting people first. Mr. Speaker, while this caring Prime Minister and government are putting people first, there are those empty barrels reverberating through our communities as they roll with the baseless slogan of right the wrong. But Mr. Speaker, if the opening of 4 technical vocational education institutes is considered to be wrong, I'd rather be wrong. If expanding universal health care program for the offering of free diabetes and hypertension medication to the offering of maternal and child health services, cervical cancer screening, prostate cancer screening, urology consultations, and snake bite management is considered wrong by them, I'd rather be wrong. If the establishment, Mr. Speaker, of 10 million MSME loan grant facility with plans to increase it is considered wrong on their part, I'd rather be wrong. If honoring the payment of 11.5 million back pay that was not settled by the last administration is considered wrong, I'd rather be wrong. If an additional payment of 34.5 million in back pay is considered wrong, I still rather be wrong. An unexpected one-time bonus of $500 to public servants was paid, I still rather be wrong. And the list continues, Mr. Speaker. And when I heard earlier on the Minister for Sports speak about the cage fiasco, I can attest to it. I can attest to it. Because I remembered, and while they try all sorts of things to castigate me and to call me snake, etc., I recalled a meeting with the then Prime Minister at Cocoa Palm in a last-minute ditch to determine Whether I was on board or not, he raised the question with me, Mr. Speaker. He said that Cage was taking over the Baywalk Treasure Bay Casino. But Cage was asking that they enjoy tax and VAT-free concessions to take it over. My response to him was, Mr. Prime Minister, why do you want to give away the shop? Why do you want to give away revenue that you are already enjoying just in the interest of one organization? But you let the cat out of the bag. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, he did it. He gave it away on the eve of election, and it's our young people, our athletes, who have suffered the consequences of that fatal decision. Mr. Speaker, this government has demonstrated a clear indication of a government that is working. The list of fulfilled promises is a clear indication of a government at work, working hard for the people of this country, rather than the one that failed the people in the past. Mr. Speaker, I am convinced, based on the contents of the Prime Minister's budget presentation, the policy statement, based on the successes reflected there, based on what is being offered. I heard the parliamentary representative for Babonneau saying that it was a giveaway budget. I call it a caring budget, because in this budget statement, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has demonstrated that he cares for all. In every sector, in every social strata, in every part of this country, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has come to the table and said, we are working for you, we want to help you, we want you to be part of an economy that cares for all St. Lucians, to give each of them an opportunity to participate. And that's the nature of this government, Mr. Speaker. A government that cares, a leader that cares, a leader that loves his people, and a leader that will stop at no end to fulfill the promises for his people. Promises made, promises kept. Mr. Speaker, I want to, in the process, respond to a few things, and one of them is what was raised by the parliamentary representative for Choiseul, when he raised the issue of Wasco, Mr. Speaker, in which he said that the last administration did work on the Roseau Dam, and this administration never continued. Mr. Speaker, I'll one day have the opportunity, if it's not done previously, to release a forensic audit which was done on the Roseau Dam. A forensic audit which speaks to the mismanagement, the misuse, the corruption which took place on this project of desilting the dam, Mr. Speaker. I will one day release it, Mr. Speaker. And I recall, Mr. Speaker, as part of the report which I read some time ago, you know, the auditors, the forensic auditors indicated that the findings confirm gross non-conformities related to the use of the dredging fee account as per conditions set by the regulator, including misuse of funds and gross mismanagement of the project. Gross mismanagement of the project. I recall it, Mr. Speaker. I was the minister responsible for the NUC, the National Utility Regulatory Authority. I was given instructions to dismiss the CEO because the CEO refused to adhere to their instructions to deviate from the rules and the conditions set by the NERC. Mr. Speaker, in that report, Mr. Speaker, it speaks to the amount used from the dredging fund account exceeded the regulatory cap limit of 60 million, and that exceeded it by 9 million. So in other words, the cap was 60 million. They went overboard by 9 million, Mr. Speaker. And the overall amount they went by over at the end of the day was $16.5 million. $16.5 million, indicating that they were dredging. I said a forensic audit was done. In the auditor's report, I don't have it with me, in the auditor's report I read that the amount used from the dredging fund account exceeded the regulatory capped limit of 60 million, set by the NERC by $9 million. And the funds disbursed from the dredging fund account exceeded the project cost by 16.5 million. Well, if you ever read the report, that's exactly what it's saying. It says wastage and payments for unqualified claims submitted by contractor. Unqualified claims. So today the minister for, and I'm sure probably he doesn't even know about that. There are many things he didn't know. So here we are, Mr. Speaker, in a climate where the entire country is crying out loud because they cannot get water. The mechanism established, the fund established, as a consequence of deductions in the payment of water rates, $60 million to dredge the dam. They didn't dredge 10% of what was to be dredged because they changed the modality of the project to facilitate their own doings and went over by $16.5 million, meaning $76.5 million spent, and not even 10% of the dam was dredged. And today you come and you speak about it was dredged, 700 million gallons capacity. We lost about 500 million in silt. But you claim that this administration has failed to continue the project, whereas all the...
Member for Switzerland,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I believe the member is misleading. I'll say that because the member is quoting from a forensic audit that I have never seen. It's not in the public space. But because I don't know whether he's saying something that's not the truth, Mr. Speaker. But you see,
member for Switzerland, you can say you're not aware of what he's saying.
Yes.
But you can't say he's misleading if you haven't read it.
Well, if I don't know the truth, Mr. Speaker, I don't know.
But it's not. But you don't know what he's saying to be correct.
What I do know, Mr. Speaker, is that the president of the CDB currently had a video expressing his satisfaction in the project, and there was no objection to pay at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker. That is what I do know.
I understand that, member, but you stood on a point of order that he was misleading the House, and then you immediately accepted you have no idea you didn't read what he's reading from. Well, then you ask that, but you can't say he's misleading.
You want this? Mr. Speaker, I can share this with him as a document of the House. But Mr. Speaker, the member is misleading himself. He's misleading himself. He must take a look around him and change course. And so, Mr. Speaker, these are some of the things that took place in the former administration. And they come here today like saints, as if, they have done no wrong. But Mr. Speaker, let me move on with some aspects of the Department of Infrastructure, Ports, Transport, Physical Development, and Urban Renewal. And many times people tend to believe that that department is simply responsible for blocking potholes. But we have a range of portfolios, Mr. Speaker: infrastructure, ports, transport, public utilities, electronic communications, etc., all of which under that department. I want to mention and speak to the issue of the geothermal bill, what is normally referred to as the Renewable Energy Sector Development Project. Mr. Speaker, that project is well underway. And it is St. Lucia's long-term energy vision, which was approved in the National Energy Transition Strategy, which aims to reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels. For some time now, Mr. Speaker, the government has been working, and it started way in about 2012, thereabout, has been working on the opportunities that are available by moving in the direction of renewable energy. And so our energy mix, our energy profile, as set out, comprises solar, wind, geothermal, and the potential for ocean tech, and in recent times, an opportunity for nuclear energy. This, Mr. Speaker, is being attempted mainly to see how we can improve on our services here in this country and to impact positively on our domestic sector, our people, who are for years claiming, and of course with evidence, that the cost of electricity is too high. Our manufacturers and businesses, the tourism sector, who are themselves indicating that the cost of electricity is affecting production. And so what we are doing, Mr. Speaker, with a loan from the World Bank, it is a grant as we speak, but once we are able to successfully discover full potential of the supply of electricity to attract an investor, we will be able to provide an opportunity for at least participating in a mix that will attempt to bring the cost of electricity down. The project activities, Mr. Speaker, at this time includes the finalization of land acquisition for all project sites, civil works, drilling works, which should start anytime from now, resettlement action plan for persons affected, drafting of the geothermal environmental social impact assessment and the ESIA regulations. All of these, Mr. Speaker, are necessary to create the enabling environment for geothermal. The socio-economic benefits, Mr. Speaker, of geothermal is that consumers, as I said earlier, and throughout the country would benefit from lower and more stable electricity prices. Increased economic activities, reduction in air pollution, in the long-term benefits to St. Lucia would include increased renewable energy penetration, lower electricity tariffs for all consumers. Overall, legislation policy will contribute to St. Lucia's effort to develop a greener, resilient, and independent, improve quality of life and protect the local and global environment. Mr. Speaker, I now move on to the question of energy efficiency. While we continue to move to renewables, we also believe that there are some steps that can be taken and getting involved in energy efficiency, among them being utilizing solar lamps or what we call LED bulbs. Energy efficiency is a low-hanging fruit, Mr. Speaker, in addressing the issues within the energy sector. Often the intervention of energy efficiency comes at a little or not cost comes at a little or no cost, as there are both passive and active measures that can reap tangible benefits. There is what we call the Caribbean Efficiency and Green Energy Building, which is a project aimed at retrofitting a number of government properties to provide solar panels for the support of those sectors. Some of the public buildings, Owen King EU Hospital, the Tissue Culture Lab, Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Financial Administration Center, Bodley Correctional Facility, Victoria Hospital, Soufre Hospital, Heraldin Rock Building, Sir Stanislaus James Building, Francis Compton Building. These are some of the buildings that we are looking at to retrofit to provide an opportunity for reduced energy. Some benefits: reducing energy costs, environmental concerns improvement, energy security, economic development, meeting international commitments, and the list continues. Mr. Speaker, the most evident initiative ahead of us is that of the electricity supply bill. That bill was presented for first reading towards the end of the last session of Parliament. But we will return with it, Mr. Speaker, for first reading and second and third reading in an endeavor to move forward with that piece of legislation. The legislation, Mr. Speaker, allows for the decoupling of energy as a consequence of fossil fuels and integrating renewable energy, whether it's solar, wind, or other, to allow independent power producers to participate in this sector. What it means, Mr. Speaker, is that Lucia, who has the monopoly for generation of energy or electricity through fossil fuels at this time, that monopoly ends in the year 2045. Notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, once the legislation goes through, it means that anyone who wants to participate in the sector can participate, but under regulation of the NUC, the National Utility Regulatory Commission. Mr. Speaker, the success of having a sustainable, renewable energy sector would benefit consumers throughout the country who would be able to be more confident in a more transparent electricity billing system. It will increase attractiveness for investors wishing to participate in the economy. It will provide reduction in the country's reliance on imported fossil fuels, increase renewable energy penetration, job creation, increase energy resilience and independence, economic growth across several sectors, including tourism and agriculture. These are the opportunities, Mr. Speaker, that this piece of legislation will provide to our people. What is happening now, Mr. Speaker? A number of individuals who are of the opinion that the bill does not allow the kinds of liberty that they anticipate seem to have a concern. The problem is, Mr. Speaker, in the design of a renewable energy sector, we have to be very careful that we don't kill the goose that laid the golden egg for something else. So while Lucia is part of the overall structure, the grid, which is owned by Lucia, Mr. Speaker, will be required for the independent power producers who would like to generate and distribute to other power purchasers or even Lucia itself. So we have to be careful. Some refer to Barbados as having gone through the process and are quite happy with what's going on. But what is happening in Barbados, Mr. Speaker, is that the grid in Barbados has been overloaded with renewable energy suppliers, producers. That grid, Mr. Speaker, has become very unstable. So what you do have happening are blackouts and greyouts. Blackouts meaning the shutdown, the entire shutdown of the system, and greyouts meaning the instability and fluctuation in the provision of energy, creating a nuisance to many who will participate. Mr. Speaker, I will give much more on this one when the time comes for the debate of the bill. The issue, Mr. Speaker, of the Transport Division, again, quickly, Mr. Speaker, the Transport Division this year, we are looking to undertake a number of initiatives geared towards improving the transport sector. Among them, Mr. Speaker, is the need for a very aggressive road safety program to allow for an improvement in what is happening on our roads. Many of our roads, particularly after they're constructed, persons seem to take advantage and to feel that it is a time to utilize it excessively and race, and we have seen an increase in the number of road fatalities taking place on our roads. In fact, recently, I had one or two individuals from the Castries Central area, from Rosehill and those areas, who have approached me to indicate that now that the Chaussee Road has been reconstructed, motorists are traversing that road with great speed, threatening senior citizens and others who are attempting to cross the road. And so that is the behavior of our people. Once you fix the road, then they believe it's a highway and they can speed. And now the people are saying we need to put pedestrian crossings, which we'll put. We need to put speed bumps, which they hope that we'll put to slow down the traffic. And then the motorists start complaining there are too many speed bumps on the road. But our people must be disciplined, and we're hoping that through the Transport Department, the Road Transport Board, we will be able to do some work in that endeavor. Mr. Speaker, under that department, we're looking at the policy to include standards for driver education behavior. We have problems there. Improved standards for road infrastructure engineering, standards for garage inspections, vehicle roadworthiness. That's an area we have some problems. In that, whereas the private sector is involved in the inspection and certification of vehicles, in some instances, we believe that some garages are being dishonest by issuing certification without proper inspection, and in one or two cases, to know that they don't even have a hoist to inspect the vehicle. So we're going to tighten up on this situation and to improve it, and to do have what we call spot checks to ensure that vehicles on the roads are, of course, in good condition. One of the things we have discovered, Mr. Speaker, and not too long ago, we were able to apprehend a particular driver. What they do on inspection days, they would switch the tires, just borrow tires from another vehicle and borrow a light, etc., retrofit it just to the inspection, go to the inspection, get approved, and by the time they get approval, then they return the tires, etc., etc., and go back to their old tires, which would not have passed the test. So we're looking at all of those things, Mr. Speaker, to see what we can do. The question of transportation of hazard materials, Mr. Speaker, aggregate, is one area we need to tighten. There are persons who are transporting material, whether it's quarry material or other hazardous waste, and of course to the detriment of the general public. Local bus stops and terminals, we are, Mr. Speaker, looking in that direction, and I'll just give you an update on what one of the major projects we hope that we can get off the ground sometime this year once we can get the resources. We're looking at issues of location of utility poles, road audits to be conducted, review of social and economic impacts of crashes and fatalities, and medical fitness to operate a motor vehicle. And I do know that some people who get to the age of 70 who are called upon to participate or to conduct some kind of fitness test or to return on the road with an examiner, there is some level of resistance, and we're trying to see how we can at least maintain the requirement, but probably do some kind of virtual training to prepare them and to get them to go through the exercise. Emergency traffic management, Mr. Speaker, vulnerable road users, street vending, stray animals, and that is one that has been a problem to many administrations along the Castries-Grosley Highway, particularly with stray animals, much of which have affected motorists and their vehicles. The use of cellular phones, Mr. Speaker, while driving is necessary. Public awareness and legislation enforcement, Mr. Speaker, all of these are to be looked at under the arrangements that we're doing. Mr. Speaker, a study was done by the World Bank, St. Lucia, Grenada, and Guyana, and the intention was to see how we can improve on our public transportation system. St. Lucia was looked at, and following the report of the study, we requested that they should go a little deeper and look at our system, since St. Lucia is different to Grenada and different to Guyana, that they should look at our system and do two things. One, to look at the issue of increases or regulating the rates. We here in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, really do not have any yardstick, any measurement for at least determining increases in rates. What has happened over the years, once the associations believe that there's a need to increase the rates because cost of tires, cost of parts, and the cost of fuel is moving up, then they appeal to the government, and the government makes certain concessions. We either give them an increase, or we give them concessions on fuel, duty-free concessions, etc., etc. I said to them, we need to get a scientific approach to this. So the CDB now, Mr. Speaker, has done that study, and they have presented a report to the ministry, which I will be taking to Cabinet for Cabinet's consideration, of course, after having discussions with the St. Lucia, the National Council of Public Transportation, who themselves seem to be quite happy with it on the way forward. Once we can get this to Cabinet, then most likely we may have to come to Parliament with the proposal. The second initiative which we requested of them is to look at bus terminals, and the Prime Minister mentioned. This year, we are looking, based on the report and the advice given by the CDB's report, we're looking at 2 bus terminals, the Castries Northern Bus Terminal, which we have identified the Gardens as the location for that bus terminal. What we will do is the section where I believe the Grosley buses assemble, which is on the closer to the tennis courts, and the sediment pond, which is on the eastern end. That entire area, Mr. Speaker, will be considered for a bus terminal. But we're looking at doing a multi-story terminal that will allow us to be able to use different levels for different locations. So southbound traffic most likely will take off from the ground floor. Northbound traffic will take up from the upper floor. And of course, the terminal should have a number of concession booths, etc., for persons who want to be able to be there and to participate. That will help, Mr. Speaker, although we have not spoken to the Castries City Council or the parliamentary rep. But once the design is completed, Mr. Speaker, we are hoping that we can now use them as a means of alleviating the crowdedness on the streets with vendors who are blocking up sidewalks, etc., etc., and the traffic. So we have, Mr. Speaker, an investor who is prepared to participate in a PPP with the government, design, build, finance, design, build, and construct, and they are currently working on the designs, and I am hoping that very soon we'll be able to present it to the Cabinet of Ministers. Mr. Speaker, motor vehicles and road traffic on license regulations. The unregulated production of license plates continues to pose a challenge to law enforcement agencies. The proliferation of a variety of fonts, plate sizes and colors are non-compliant with the legislation and international standards. The Department of Infrastructure continues to receive complaints from motor vehicle owners that their license numbers are being used unlawfully, resulting in distressing encounters with law enforcement personnel. The problem here, Mr. Speaker, we have a number of problems. Persons are generating their own number plates. They're using it conveniently to participate in activities, illegal activities and otherwise. And when checked, it is a number plate that is registered in someone else's name. Secondly, number plates we recognize, and I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, you're very familiar with that all of a sudden there's a proliferation of different fonts and 3D plates, etc. And the ministry is saying there is a requirement under the law. It gives you specifications, but what they're doing is to develop their own different sizes, 3D, etc. And the police is saying we're having difficulty with this. We recently published an essay indicating the need and stating the regulations, the specifications for number plates. But we suspended it because there seemed to have been some kind of appeal for time before we can do this. I'll be going back to Cabinet with this matter, Mr. Speaker, to get Cabinet's approval and to make a presentation to Cabinet so as to move on and get this matter resolved once and for all. We cannot have everybody doing their own thing. We need to have standardized plates on the road that all may follow. Transport costs and tariff calculation model, Mr. Speaker, I just spoke about that, the model that the CDB has proposed, and we're hoping very soon, once the NCOPT agrees, we can move forward with it. Motor vehicle and road traffic, public transportation complaints for many years, Mr. Speaker. The NCOPT and others within the public transportation sector have been saying the time has come to discipline drivers who seem to violate the laws and violate the rights of others. What we have found out from the AG's chambers, Mr. Speaker, we don't necessarily need to have a disciplinary committee, but the public transportation, the Road Transport Board, can establish a grievance mechanism to allow members of the public or route associations to lodge complaints and to deal with those matters. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, through the St. Lucia Road Transport Board, a Public Transportation Complaints Committee will be established with the legal authority to receive these complaints and make appropriate recommendations to the Minister for these complaints to be effectively, completely, and decisively addressed. Road infrastructure, Mr. Speaker. During the debate of the estimates, I did give a full overview of road infrastructure and what we are doing this year, what we have done rather last year. I would like to suggest, Mr. Speaker, that St. Lucia's infrastructure system stands at a critical crossroads as climate change and other activities are affecting our infrastructure. One of the things we must do, Mr. Speaker, in moving forward as we continue to improve on our road infrastructure is the existing Works and Roads Act, which was drafted in pre-climate crisis era, 1905, and amended in 1956 thereabout. That is the same piece of legislation that we're using. It speaks about pounds, shillings and pence, 1956, sorry. It speaks about pounds, shillings and pence, horse and cart carriage, etc., etc., and even the fees and charges, Mr. Speaker, are negligible. We just cannot use it. And so, Mr. Speaker, in our Infrastructure 2030 strategic plan, one of the initiatives we will be undertaking is the review of the legislation to make it more modern and applicable at this time, Mr. Speaker. We have in our allocation this year, Mr. Speaker, resources, allocation to engage a consultant and to have the consultant draft new legislation for the sector. It is anticipated, Mr. Speaker, that the National Infrastructure Policy, which will be developed as part of the overall plan, will highlight a catalytic role of infrastructure to social and economic development. The main objectives will be: 1, to design and construct climate-resilient public infrastructure; 2, to support the development of adequate public infrastructure for all sectors; to maintain and manage public infrastructure in a sustainable manner; and 4, to apply international standards to all infrastructure development. The National Infrastructure Policy will support government's thrust to ensure that all public infrastructure projects are completed to cost, quality, and time. Mr. Speaker, this is so important because in many instances, persons are deviating from standards. We need to have a system where we maintain standards. Even within the Department of Infrastructure, we need to be able to ensure that our roads are built to particular standards, that the environment within which we build those roads are up to a standard, that we maintain international standards, and that our people are given the best in road infrastructure and other public infrastructure in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, this year, as we speak of infrastructure, many a times parliamentarians would request, well, what are you doing for me? What are you doing? The Minister for Sports spoke a while ago and he listed a number of communities, a number of sports facilities which will be built throughout the island. And I was looking this morning, he indicated again his commitment to Leclerc and the upgrade of the Leclerc playing field. After all, the Leclerc football team is the island champs of the semi-professional league, and they deserve to be given the best. No, don't you worry. Next year, this year or next year, it will be worse. We gave you all a little break. But, Mr. Speaker, on my part, notwithstanding the list of roads which were mentioned last time I spoke, I believe it was almost 60 roads throughout the country, to demonstrate that, notwithstanding the lies of the opposition, to give the impression that nothing is happening, and they say this for every sector. Nothing is happening in health. Health is the worst ever. The minister is the worst health minister. In sports, they say the same thing. In agriculture, they say nothing is happening. And so in infrastructure, it's even worse. Because I often say to my people complain about the health sector when they get into the emergency department. People complain about agriculture only when they feel they're being affected. They complain about sports only when there's something. But people complain about roads the moment they step onto that pavement or drive on that pavement. Because that is one department, one piece of infrastructure that everybody visits every day. Whether you're walking, riding, or whatever, or driving. So, Mr. Speaker, in addition to those roads which were mentioned, and Prime Minister gave a list from Majormel, Beauséjour, Chaussee Road, La Ressource, Fort Saint-Jacques, and the Minister is very happy about Fort Saint-Jacques, Waterworks Road, etc. We have a package of roads which hopefully we can start soon after the budget. This package includes,
Member for
Mr. Speaker,
Castries North, you have 15 minutes left.
how much?
15.
15, okay. This package of road, Mr. Speaker, includes Rosalie B Road Rehabilitation Project, and it is current bypass. Current bypass. Then we have Babono, Asuba Road under this specific project, and there are 3 other roads, Mr. Speaker, which will fall under the other project, other program within the ministry. Vieux-Fort North, Mr. Speaker, we have Fort Daisy Road, Kako to Bellevue, Beauséjour to Lower Grace Road, Grace Woodlands Road, and we have a set of other roads which will deal with the Opicon to Canals Opicon, and 1 or 2 others. Then you have the Castries North Roads, Mr. Speaker, Active Hill to City Gate, and the La Passe Mondidon Road, which affects both Central and Castries North. And you have Waterworks Road. I noticed they placed it in Castries North, but it's ongoing. It is really in Castries East and ends in Castries Central. Castries Southeast Roads, we have the Lacroix to Ansa, which is the most critical road, and there's some other smaller roads, Mr. Speaker, which will fall under our RIMP program. You have the Lacroix to Ansa. Then you have the Castries South Roads Rehabilitation, Kubaril Section 1 and Kubaril Section 2, and we have done a number of other roads which I mentioned, Mr. Speaker, the last time. Then you have the Richmond Ring Road, and that is in the constituency of Dennery North, the Richmond Ring Road. In the Dennery South Road Rehabilitation Project, we have Green Mountain and Bois Joli, and we also have some roads in the village which are down for consideration. Miku Road Rehabilitation, and that is Miku North. We have the Maho Road. We're already on La Pointe. We will be doing Sainte Marie, and there is the Maho Road, which will be attended. Labri, Catin Auger, Mont-Leblanc. This is under this particular program, and under the RIMP, we are hoping to do some sidewalks, drainage systems, and one or two other roads. And in Choiseul, we're not like them, we don't leave them out. We have the Soldibus Grace Road and the Gayabois Road, and I'm sure the parliamentary representative will be very happy with that. When you see it, you'll be happy, we will deliver. So, Mr. Speaker, these are some of the roads that we will be attending to in this coming season. There's some other areas, Mr. Speaker, I just want to gloss over. I will not need any more time, Mr. Speaker. I want to speak about the issue of meteorology, Meteorological Services Division, which is National Hydrometeorology Services and Model Meteorological Services, Mr. Speaker. That has to do, Mr. Speaker, with the climate and weather, etc., etc. We don't seem to make much about it, but now, Mr. Speaker, particularly with what's going on in the United States, with the activities of the American government, the United States government, we are called upon to enhance our services, because much of the funding for regional meteorological services have been withdrawn, and our people are called upon to improve. So, Government of St. Lucia has adopted the Regional Strategic Policy and Model Meteorological Services Bill, which were developed by the Caribbean Meteorological Organization for English-speaking members of CARICOM. The Regional Strategic Policy was developed to guide, govern, and regulate the provision of efficient, effective weather and climate services in pursuit of the safety of life, preservation of livelihood, protection of property, and safeguarding of the natural environment. In addition, Mr. Speaker, it further serves to foster a culture of national, regional, and international cooperation between and among national meteorological and hydrometeorological services, relevant stakeholders, and others. Mr. Speaker, this is so important because at this time as we speak, some of the services that we got from the United States in terms of weather, being able to predict weather and to communicate on weather issues, to guide whether it's our officials, our farmers, or even our airplanes who use our space. That, Mr. Speaker, is compromised because of the actions of the United States. So we in the region, CARICOM region, we've got to build our own system and to be a lot more independent in that regard. Mr. Speaker, maritime services. Again, maritime services falls under the Department of Infrastructure, and in recent times what we have done is to attempt to decouple the maritime services from SLASPA and establish what we call a maritime authority. Because SLASPA cannot be an operator and a regulator at the same time. So we need to establish a regulatory authority to be able to regulate SASPA and to regulate all maritime operators so that they can conform to the rules. And the Cabinet established a committee, Mr. Speaker, which met. They've been meeting, they've made their report, and therefore a new mandate has been given in moving forward to establish the St. Lucia Maritime Authority. What we need to determine, Mr. Speaker, is whether we set up an authority, a public authority, or private authority, or public-private authority. In some countries, it's a private sector entity which manages the authority for the government. We believe in St. Lucia, maybe what we need to do is to set up an authority in conjunction with a private sector entity to be able to provide a hybrid of services that can be second to none in the region. We have so far, Mr. Speaker, in moving forward, we have been able to promulgate the St. Lucia Shipping and Maritime Authority Bill, which will establish a maritime authority to be administered and enforce all matters relating to shipping, all waterborne commercial and non-commercial activities, the issues of ship registration, surveys, inspections, and all other services related to maritime. The Shipping Safety Management System regulations, Mr. Speaker, we've been able to put that through. The Shipping Marine Pollution Bill, a serious one, Mr. Speaker. This bill will ensure that St. Lucia's legislation is consistent with internationally and nationally agreed best practices. Then you have the Shipping Caribbean Cargo Service, Ship Survey and Construction regulations. And all of these, Mr. Speaker, are initiatives and regulations that more or less guide in ensuring that the sector is regulated properly and meets international standards. A Cabinet-appointed committee, advisory committee, has been given a mandate to oversee the transitioning of the Division of Maritime Affairs within the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority to a statutory maritime authority to under the Department of Infrastructure, Ports and Transport. That's exactly what I said earlier. And then, Mr. Speaker, we move to telecommunications. Telecommunications, Mr. Speaker, again under the Department of Infrastructure, we are now in the process of taking to Parliament what is called the Electronic Telecommunications Bill. In a nutshell, that bill is really an advancement, a re-engineered bill that takes into consideration the time that we are in. The time that we are in, Mr. Speaker, we deal with electronics. We deal with electronic communications. We deal with cell phones. The piece of legislation which existed before, Mr. Speaker, dealt with landlines and this sort of thing. And the environment of telecommunications, Mr. Speaker, has been so revolutionized that you need to ensure that you have the right legal framework to enable us to participate in this environment. Mr. Speaker, this piece of legislation is ready for Parliament, and very soon I will be presenting it. I want to, in closing, Mr. Speaker, move to a few areas on the Department of Physical Development, Physical Planning and Urban Renewal, and to speak of our initiative in setting up what we call the e-registry. And the e-registry, Mr. Speaker, is a project which past administrations have been speaking for a long time in trying to use that resource that we have, a resource that deals with our land assets, a resource that means that persons need to know what is available to be able to determine their level of investment, one that can generate tremendous profit, tremendous revenue to the country. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we have been able to engage the World Bank, and they have been working with us, Mr. Speaker, to attempt to modernize the land registry. First, to digitize the land registry so that it makes it a lot more efficient. What is happening now, Mr. Speaker, you go to the land registry to retrieve information. It's a physical book. You've got to go to a vault, pull it up. Sometimes it's dry rot. You cannot handle it properly. To get those land registries, etc., the registers, etc., Mr. Speaker, the attempt here is to digitize the land registry and then to put the land registry online so that if an investor, Mr. Speaker, wants to engage or wants to access the St. Lucia Land Registry, they must pay a fee, either a one-time fee or pay a subscription, which will not be the $5 that people go to the land registry to get a block and parcel register, but a subscription that will bring revenue into the country so that they have access, and the access will protect you, the individuals, us.
Member, you have 5 minutes left.
Maybe give me about 10 minutes.
What is it?
32.8.
Member from Eco North.
Mr. Speaker, as that Standing Order 32.8 be invoked and that the member be given an extra 30 minutes to complete his presentation.
Members, the question is that Standing Order 32.8 be suspended and Standing Order 32.10 be invoked to allow the member for Castries North an additional 30 minutes in which to complete his presentation. And now for the question, as many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Please proceed, member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A member said for 30 minutes they need 3 rooms. So let's see how we do this. And as I was saying, Mr. Speaker, with the land registry, this sort of development that is taking place there will allow us to digitize and to be able to put the land registry on a platform that provides accessibility to anyone wanting to venture, wanting to access the information there. However, there will be security measures placed in there to avoid persons going into what I call private aspects of an individual. So if someone wants to see whether the offer made by the parliamentary rep for Choiseul of a piece of land at Monja belongs to him, he can go in once he has the block and parcel number and to be able to see, yes, it's in his name, or no, it's not in his name, but it's in the name of Stevenson King. So that sort of situation he can do. But he cannot go in there, Mr. Speaker, and investigate this situation and to probably find out, well, he'll find out if he has a mortgage on the land, but other issues, if registered, then that person would not be able to go in. So, Mr. Speaker, we're in a very advanced stage at this present time, and I'm hoping that very soon, sooner than later, we will be able to report to the general public and inform them of this activity. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important activity because the land registry has had the problem of persons who complain about getting there and waiting long hours to get the service. Documents being missed, unable to get the documents on time. So once that system is in place, Mr. Speaker, we'll be able to provide a more efficient service and a service that is very reliable. Now, we do have some problems now. I mean, we have come a long way. The service has improved. We've got a new land registrar, a new registrar, a new deputy registrar, and we can see improvement. But yet still, there are people who would tell you, my document is at the land registry and I cannot get it for 2 weeks. It has not reached there yet, Mr. Speaker. Somebody said it's there, but it's not there. And so all of these issues will be dealt with where persons can go online and find out exactly where the documents are. I want to commend the land registry, the land registrar and the staff for the work which they have been doing over the last few months. I want to also move on, Mr. Speaker, and to indicate that this project is valued at $1.9 million US, and it will span for 19 months, focusing on system development, contract management, change management, and capacity building. There is a need for consultant, stakeholder engagement, etc., which has already started in an endeavor to be able to do what is right in that case. Some of the challenges, Mr. Speaker, of this one is that the inception phase also identified several key challenges hindering the efficiency of the land administration. Current legislation that is incompatible with full automation and digitization of the land registry, lack of digital integration between the departments, land registry, surveys and mapping sections, complete reliance on manual processes as I indicated, use of physical logbooks slows down document retrieval and increases errors. Inadequate human resources at the land registry. However, I must thank the Prime Minister for agreeing to give us some additional resources to be able to augment the human capacity necessary. Then the Development Control Authority, Mr. Speaker. This is one unit, Mr. Speaker, one department that we need to begin to seriously move forward with. The Development Control Authority, Mr. Speaker, resides more or less physically in the Department of Physical Development. That authority needs to be an independent authority. It needs to have its own resources, human and other resources, to conduct its affairs. It is not right, Mr. Speaker, that a planning officer or a buildings officer is the one to go out there into the field and to do the necessary work of the DCA, and yet still return and to be able to do the work that they're called upon within the department. So we will hope, Mr. Speaker, that we can move on and to really and truly develop and commit to work that was already started in establishing a Development Control Authority as a statutory body. However, Mr. Speaker, one achievement of the department this year is the Land Development Regulations, Environmental Impact Assessment Regulations, and the Environmental Protection Area Regulations for the Pitons Management Area, which, where we made provisions for the orderly development of land in St. Lucia. Those regulations, Mr. Speaker, were published and are now enforced, and that has enhanced the capacity and the ability of the department, the Development Control Authority, in conducting its affairs. However, Mr. Speaker, a step that will realize a landscape that we can all continue to be proud of, as with all laws, public sensitization is crucial, and so we have to undertake some public sensitization. But, Mr. Speaker, moving forward, Mr. Speaker, there are a few other areas where we need to take some action. One of those is that of the Crown Lands Department. The Crown Lands Department, Mr. Speaker, I often say they are custodians of the land assets of the government. They get involved in leasing of lands, sale of house lots, etc., etc. I personally, Mr. Speaker, do not believe that's their core function. I believe lands that are considered to be ideal for housing should be vested into the Department of Housing or whichever entity is responsible. Crown Land should not be involved in rental of lands and sale of lands in the manner in which it's done. We are not equipped for that. However, what I believe is most important is that we really and truly should have what I call a land commission. A land commission under new legislation that appoints a board of commissioners responsible for Crown property. As it is now, Mr. Speaker, the legislation, I can't recall how old it is, it's probably as old as the Roads and Works Act, maybe 1947 or thereabout, and it speaks to the Governor General and the Commissioner of Crown Lands. When you read through that piece of legislation, archaic, it almost makes you believe that the land of the Crown Lands belong to the Commissioner, and he can really do whatever he wants. When you read the legislation, or the Governor General can do what he wants. So we need to modernize this legislation, Mr. Speaker. Bring it into modern times so that you have a commission, a land commission of commissioners comprising a complement of individuals, persons who probably have served in the judiciary, in the public service, who have no interest whatsoever, and to allow that to be the body that will oversee the assets of the state as far as lands are concerned, and to be able to determine which lands are for housing, which lands are for investment, which lands should be kept under the watch of that authority. Mr. Speaker, the issue of planning, Mr. Speaker. Recently, we were able to appeal to the Prime Minister for an allocation of $200,000, which will be used for what we call control of unplanned developments. And what I speak of, Mr. Speaker, is the ease with which people can just build anywhere. On the sidewalk, anywhere they can build, and by the time the DCA wakes up, then it's too late because that person has built. We need to be able to respond much quicker. So the $200,000, Mr. Speaker, will be able to allow us to engage one or two individuals who can act as policemen and who can enforce the law to ensure that persons don't build illegally, but really get them to conform to the laws of the land and to be able to follow the right path. So that, Mr. Speaker, I can assure you we will be utilizing effectively. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity you've given me. I think I have dealt with most of what I intended to deal with. There's some areas where we needed to emphasize in the structure of the Department of Infrastructure, and that is the Design, Planning and Implementation Unit. That unit, Mr. Speaker, is necessary. One of the things we have encountered in recent times, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that many occasions when we are called to undertake projects, one of the problems which affects us, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that the department doesn't have shovel-ready projects. So the minister, the prime minister, or the cabinet decides we would like to reconstruct or build a road in a particular place, and they do not have a shovel-ready project. What we are looking at, Mr. Speaker, the Planning, Design and Implementation Unit, is to be able to design in-house all of those projects, to be able to have at least a record of all roads, to design new roads and to design existing roads, and whenever we are called upon to be able to respond easily. The list of roads I gave you, Mr. Speaker, which is what I call priority package number 1, that list, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, all of the roads that I listed, from Carter, Lacroix, all the way down, all of the roads I listed early on, all of the roads have been designed, the strip designs have been done, the detailed drawings have been done, and the costings have been done. So it means, Mr. Speaker, within days, anytime from now, because we have been able to do it, we are able now to respond effectively and to commence anytime. So the decision to establish a planning, design and implementation unit is ready to expedite the process with which the department moves and to stop the delays that oftentimes really takes a long time. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to once again commend the Prime Minister on having Mr. Speaker, a member just passed me a note. You haven't spoken about the Parliament building. Mr. Speaker, I must say that if there's one member in this Parliament who cares about the Parliament building, is the Minister for Infrastructure. The last time I spoke to him, Mr. Speaker, he informed me that he did a tour of the Parliament building, and he said in no uncertain terms must the Parliament building be in this condition. I am hoping that I can sit, Mr. Speaker, with the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance so that we can move forward with it. And as a matter of fact, we do have an allocation there for the Parliament building. I hope I can get it now, an allocation to commence work. Much of the work, members, you have seen so far is as a consequence of the initiative taken to try and enhance the Parliament building. We have created more parking, Mr. Speaker. We've been able to get, flag poles and bollards out there. We are looking at the space on this floor, which used to be the Ministry of Finance, and the upper floor, which was one time the Prime Minister's office. All of those locations, Mr. Speaker, we're looking at. We're hoping that for the opening of Parliament this week, we'd have done the terrazzo, pavement, etc., to really enhance the place. There is quite a lot of work to be done on the electricity infrastructure. If you notice, we seem to be having outages, blackouts sometimes in the rotunda downstairs, in the parking lot up to last night, very dark because of the lighting. Therefore, notwithstanding the allocation that is within the budget, I believe it's probably about $200,000+. I can't find it now. I will be going to the Minister for Finance for a request, which may be pretty close based on our earlier assessment, which may be in the vicinity of $1 million, to be able to do the work that is necessary here. It is important that we do it to provide greater comfort to members and also what I call the image of the Parliament. We have had, beg your pardon, only one? PM will have a chat. But it is important for our own prestige. We have had visitors in this Parliament on many occasions. We've had parliamentarians. I think this week, Mr. Speaker, we had parliamentarians from Dominica. We brought the athletes who came here. We have visitors who come all the time to this Parliament. And we really, Mr. Speaker, need to create the aura of an environment that is deserving of Parliament. And I look forward to the support of the Minister for Finance and other members if we have to come here for a vote, that I get your total support in this regard. Mr. Speaker, I want to end here. But in ending, I really believe, Mr. Speaker, that the support given to me over the last 3.5 years, moving on to 4, has been quite tremendous by the various public officers, be it at the Department of Physical Development, Physical Planning, Urban Renewal, or at the Department of Infrastructure, Ports, Transport, and etc. Mr. Speaker, it has been a tough one, but I believe my staff have been responsive, and therefore I want to thank both permanent secretaries, the permanent secretary in the Department of Physical Development and the permanent secretary in the Department of Infrastructure, Ports, Transport, the chief engineer, chief architect, and the staff, the persons in meteorology, the persons in the materials laboratory lab, those in the various departments, all of those who have, over the years, Mr. Speaker, given the necessary support. Today, I have not spoken much, or I have not spoken at all, Mr. Speaker, about SLASPA, but SLASPA, the Prime Minister mentioned in his address, have been taking a number of initiatives. Apart from the redevelopment of the airport, they're now speaking about developing Mulashik Lighthouse, and later to do the VG Lighthouse as really attractions for both locals and visitors. I want to thank all those, Mr. Speaker, who have given me support over the years from the various departments. I want to thank my constituency for having returned me time and time again, and this time there's no excuse. It is about to happen. It's only a matter of time. They can send who they want. They can have all the international experience that they claim to have. All they're doing is searching for a whipping that they'll never ever imagine. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. And I wish to endorse this appropriation bill as presented by the Honorable Minister for Finance. Mr. Speaker, send the thing.
Member for Ancillary Canaries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are those who go into politics to be something, for rank, to be able to go to hotels and enjoy free dinners, and there are those who go into politics to do something. Mr. Speaker, and yes, those words are attributed to a former Conservative Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, but no less significant for a Labour politician. It is a powerful distinction, Mr. Speaker, as it suggests a divide between those motivated by personal ambition and those driven by a desire to create change. That the former, Mr. Speaker, seeks status or power, while the latter is focused on service and impact. We, Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, are focused on service and impact. The Member of Parliament for Sozel Saltibus, Mr. Speaker, is welcome, Mr. Speaker, to join us in celebrating the genius of this budget. It is not artificial intelligence, Mr. Speaker, just the genius of the Member of Parliament for Castries East, our Prime Minister, and our Minister of Finance. We could recall what he said, Mr. Speaker. It must have been AI to be able to come up with such a well-crafted budget.
He said that?
Yesterday he said that.
You're the product of AI, man.
So, Mr. Speaker, he's welcome, Mr. Speaker, to join us as we celebrate this phenomenal budget, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as we deliberate on the appropriation bill for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, this government reaffirms its commitment to responsible governance, economic stability, and sustainable development. The Honourable Prime Minister's message frames this budget as one of continuity and caution. Caution, Mr. Speaker, because of the fog of uncertainty in the international community. However, grounded in strong economic performance and a future-focused ambitions. St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, has achieved 4 consecutive years of economic growth, reaching 4.7% in 2024 and projected 4% for 2025. Mr. Speaker, this growth reflects deliberate reforms and strategic prioritization, particularly in the areas of fiscal discipline, entrepreneurship, promotion, and social investment. And employment, Mr. Speaker, has dropped to single digits for the first quarter of 2025, signaling a critical, Mr. Speaker, social milestone and increased access to livelihood and opportunities, Mr. Speaker. And I know the member for Social yesterday had some issues in reconciling the information from the Economic and Social Review. I think it is wrong, Mr. Speaker, for politicians to respond to the assertion by the member for Social, Mr. Speaker. The CSO, Mr. Speaker, should always, Mr. Speaker, be held in very high regard. We should not be disputing in here the details coming out of the CSO, Mr. Speaker. However, Mr. Speaker, the member will also be aware that we could verify that information by simply looking at the average savings from the NIC contributions. It has moved from 9 months to now 10.2 months. An employer, Mr. Speaker, will not be contributing to NIC if he has no employees. An employee, Mr. Speaker, will not be contributing to NIC if they're not working. So that must speak, Mr. Speaker, to the reduction that he is having difficulty accepting. This is more, Mr. Speaker, than a statistic. It is tangible proof that our policies are translating into better outcomes for families and communities. Mr. Speaker, our financial institutions are growing stronger, with the Bank of St. Lucia now the largest in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Investor confidence, Mr. Speaker, and sound governance are propelling this rise, underpinned by prudent oversight and fiscal integrity. For the third consecutive year, we are recording a primary surplus, an outcome earned not by chance, not fortuitously, and not by spontaneous combustion, as the member for Labrie would say, but through disciplined budget management and purposeful investment. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, this budget introduces no new taxes, Mr. Speaker. St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, remains a low-tax jurisdiction, maintaining space for businesses and for households to recover and grow. Instead of financial burden, our strategy is to stimulate economic activity, mobilize private investment, and ensure that all St. Lucians feel the impact of this progress. Mr. Speaker, in this era of geopolitical shocks, trade volatility, and climate uncertainty, our fiscal planning must remain adaptive and resilient. We must remain vigilant in the face of inflationary pressures, supply chain disruptions, and climate-related risk. This budget reflects those realities while reinforcing our resolve to protect our economic gains and support those vulnerable amongst us, Mr. Speaker. This is not merely a ledger, Mr. Speaker, of revenues and expenditure. It is a declaration of our national priorities, a reflection of our values, and a commitment, Mr. Speaker, to inclusive growth and shared prosperity. Mr. Speaker, our fiscal balance continues to improve, not by chance, but through strategic discipline, efficient spending, and a firm commitment to be a responsible government, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we understand that the economic recovery may not come at the cost of burdening of our people. Instead, we are focused on expanding opportunity, stimulating investment, and ensuring that every solution, as I said, Mr. Speaker, feels the impact of our progress. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the young graduates who find employment, live in his or her community, or when a farmer secures financing to expand his farm operations, these are not abstract outcomes, Mr. Speaker. They are the real stories behind the numbers, and they reflect what this budget makes possible. Mr. Speaker, this is a mark of a government that is not only managing for today, but laying the groundwork for a stronger, more equitable tomorrow, Mr. Speaker. These highlights present a comprehensive roadmap of sustainable development, economic transportation, economic transformation, and a people-centered governance. These points, Mr. Speaker, reinforce this government's commitment to putting people first and building resilience in the face of global uncertainty. Mr. Speaker, this budget is more than an accounting of dollars and cents. It is a statement of intent, a clear, people-centered, forward-looking declaration of the kind of St. Lucia we are building, a St. Lucia that is equitable, modern, resilient, and full of promise. With a projected GDP growth of 4.2% and the largest budget in our nation's history, valued at $2.6 billion, this is a moment not only to stabilize, but to surge ahead with confidence. Honorable colleagues and citizens of St. Lucia, our nation, like many small island development states, continues to confront the escalating realities of climate change, rising temperatures, extreme weather events, coastal degradation. Climate-related losses pose a significant threat to our development trajectory, our livelihoods, and the sustainability of our national economy, Mr. Speaker. I, Mr. Speaker, represent a coastal community, so those matters are very, very important to me, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Prime Minister was candid, and rightly so, about the challenges that lie ahead. This budget does not operate in a vacuum. It is shaped by a world that is increasingly uncertain. Geopolitical conflicts, trade tensions, rising shipping costs, and the intensifying impacts of climate change all cast a long shadow over the small island states like ours. Mr. Speaker, as we navigate this volatile global landscape, our fiscal planning must remain adaptive. Geopolitical tensions can disrupt supply chains and tourism flows. Inflationary pressures weigh heavily on the household budgets, Mr. Speaker. Every family feels it when food prices rise or fuel costs increase. Mr. Speaker, none of us are immune. We all experience the increasing prices of food and other daily necessities. But Mr. Speaker, there is a saying we all know too well. When the United States sneezes, the Caribbean catches a cold. This isn't just a metaphor, it is a reality, Mr. Speaker. Our economy is tightly interwoven with global markets. External shocks, even those far from our shores, can have ripple effects through our economy, affecting everything from remittances to export demand. That is why we must strengthen our internal resilience, Mr. Speaker. We must manage our national budget with foresight and discipline, ensuring we can respond to shocks without compromising long-term goals. Mr. Speaker, these shocks ripple through our ports, our supermarkets, and our fuel stations. Every St. Lucian feels it, at the market, at the gas pumps, and when paying for utilities. Prices are rising, Mr. Speaker, and not due to the actions of the government, but because of what is taking place in the international community. We all, Mr. Speaker, must make choices on what we buy and improve our budget management and practices. But Mr. Speaker, in times like this, resilience begins at home, not just in government policy, but in the lived experiences of our people. We all face, Mr. Speaker, difficult decisions about what we buy, when we buy it, and how we manage limited resources. In such an environment, we must do more than call for sacrifice. We must support financial literacy, budgeting skills, and household-level resilience. Mr. Speaker, fiscal responsibility is not only the job of the ministries and Treasury. It is a shared responsibility of an informed and empowered citizenry. That is why we must make deliberate efforts to enhance public awareness of microeconomic realities, support community-based planning, and equip our people with the tools to thrive amid uncertainty. Mr. Speaker, adaptation is not a luxury. It is a necessity, and it is our duty as policymakers and public leaders to ensure that our national budget reflects that reality. It is time, Mr. Speaker, for flexible frameworks, strategic reserves, and for proactive measures that shield the most vulnerable while enabling growth and transformation. And I know the leader of the opposition is very keen at chiding the Sovereign Wealth Fund, but he doesn't seem to appreciate and understand some entity needs to help St. Lucia with the energy transition. And perhaps, Mr. Speaker, we could provide him with further lessons on the impacts of inflation and how it affects GDP, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, inevitably, climate-related disasters may redirect resources towards emergency responses. These realities compel us, Mr. Speaker, to build not just for resilience, but for agility. Our projections, Mr. Speaker, are robust, but we remain vigilant and ready to revise them if needed to protect the progress we have made. Mr. Speaker, it is precisely for those reasons that the 2025-2026 budget builds upon a solid foundation laid last year, the year of infrastructure, while now shifting toward deepening our national resilience and expanding economic opportunity. This budget is not merely a fiscal document. It is the embodiment of our collective will to succeed. It is the beginning of a new chapter in St. Lucia's history, one that will be defined by resilience, prosperity, and justice for all. Mr. Speaker, let this budget be remembered not only as a response to today's realities, but as a promise to future generations. A promise that in the face of challenge, we chose courage, that in the time of change, Mr. Speaker, we chose unity. Mr. Speaker, and that when history asks in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, and that when history asks if St. Lucia would rise, we answered with resolve, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for emphasis, I repeat that this budget is not merely a ledger of revenues and expenditures. It is a declaration of our priorities, our values, and our collective vision. It reflects a government investing not just in concrete and steel, but in human potential, national resilience, and shared prosperity. Mr. Speaker, we are navigating one of the most complex and challenging periods in our history. The climate crisis is no longer a distant threat. It is a lived reality. Mr. Speaker, and for small island developing states like ours, the choice is stark. We either adapt or we perish. Mr. Speaker, this is why this government continues to invest heavily in our climate resilience and readiness agenda. And you will have heard the Minister for Sustainable Development yesterday, Mr. Speaker. Through the Designated Authority Work Program, we have laid a strategic foundation to position St. Lucia to access climate finance. Mr. Speaker, but readiness is not an end, it is a springboard. That is why this fiscal year deepens our commitment through institutional investment, ambitious reforms, positioning St. Lucia to not only attract, but to command climate finance aligned with our national vision. We are continuing, Mr. Speaker, to strengthen our climate finance architecture and enhance institutional and technical capacities to ensure that resources can be accessed at scale and deployed efficiently, especially at the national and local levels, Mr. Speaker. To this end, our climate finance strategy is under review to ensure alignment with the country's long-term strategies for climate resilience and low-carbon development. Mr. Speaker, among our top strategic imperatives is the advancement of the national accreditation of the Green Climate Fund. Mr. Speaker, this is a bold but necessary step, one that will empower St. Lucia to retain climate finance within our borders, strengthen our national institutions, and lead implementation on our own terms. Mr. Speaker, with support from our partners and the expertise of the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, we initiated the process of preparing St. Lucia Development Bank in meeting these accreditation requirements. Mr. Speaker, in this fiscal year, support will also be provided to the St. Lucia National Conservation Fund and the Ministry of Finance to pursue GCF accreditation. Mr. Speaker, this will enable us to not only access but manage and implement climate finance investments and directly support our communities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are also undertaking a stocktake of our readiness priorities to define a long-term strategy that builds on lessons already learned. This includes support for mobilization of resources to advance our national adaptation plan, implementing our nationally determined contributions, and the operationalization of key policies like the Resilient Ecosystem Adaptation Strategy and Action Plan. Mr. Speaker, climate resilience is not optimal, it's not an option. And this government is treating it with the urgency, ambition, and the seriousness it deserves. That is why we are expanding our readiness focus to include critical areas like local governance and urban resilience. Mr. Speaker, this will allow us to better respond to floods, extreme heat events, and support investments in data systems, integrated planning, community-based infrastructure to protect the most vulnerable among us. But let me be clear, Mr. Speaker, our resilience agenda is not only about climate, Mr. Speaker. It is about economic resilience, fiscal stability, and social inclusion. There could be no resilience, Mr. Speaker, if inequalities still exist in our country. Mr. Speaker, that is why this budget includes transformative investments not only in physical infrastructure. The budget places a renewed focus on health and social development, with continued investments in healthcare, education, affordable housing, and targeted programs to uplift our most vulnerable. Resources, Mr. Speaker, have also been pledged to improvements in public financial management and data-informed decision-making. Mr. Speaker, it also emphasizes citizen safety and job creation, two fundamental pillars of our national development. This budget, Mr. Speaker, also includes initiatives designed to address both immediate employment needs and the long-term sustainability of our labor market. Mr. Speaker, a resilient, modern, and connected St. Lucia requires world-class infrastructure, and the redevelopment of the Urinary International Airport stands as one of the most transformative investments in our national development agenda. This is not just an airport project. It is a symbol of confidence in St. Lucia's future. It is about creating the gateways that will welcome millions of visitors, facilitate trade and connectivity, and open new horizons for commerce, tourism, and global engagement. The HIA redevelopment, Mr. Speaker, is progressing with determination and vision. The new terminal designed to international standards will offer expanded capacity, improved passenger experience, and modern security and customs facilities. This will significantly reduce congestion, improve turnaround times, and position St. Lucia to compete more effectively in the regional and global tourism markets. But Mr. Speaker, it is more than just that. The HIA project is a catalyst for economic activity across multiple sectors, from local contractors, engineers, and suppliers engaged during construction, to new business opportunities for logistics, transport, hospitality, and retail when operational. The benefits are far-reaching. This is infrastructure with purpose. It is not development for development's sake. It is a deliberate effort to improve St. Lucia's economic competitiveness, enhance our national brand, and provide the infrastructural foundation for growth in green and blue economies, Mr. Speaker. We are also ensuring that this project reflects our commitment to sustainability and resilience. The new airport design, Mr. Speaker, incorporates energy efficiency features, sustainable materials, and provisions for climate adaptation, ensuring that we are not just building for today, but for generations to come. Mr. Speaker, the HIA redevelopment is aligned with our broader vision for sovereign growth and investment. It complements planned developments in Vieux-Fort and surrounding areas, including, Mr. Speaker, tourism expansion. The airport becomes the anchor of a larger ecosystem of growth, transforming the South into a new hub of economic opportunity and innovation. Mr. Speaker, this government is not only thinking big, we are executing with purpose. The HIA redevelopment is proof of that. It is an investment in connectivity, capacity, and confidence in our economy, in our people, and in St. Lucia's rightful place on the world stage. Under this administration, we are not merely dreaming about development, Mr. Speaker. We are delivering it boldly, sustainably, and for the benefit of all St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker, not just some St. Lucians. Mr. Speaker, if Urenoi International Airport is the gateway to St. Lucia's future, then St. Jude's Hospital is the guardian of life and dignity for the people of the South. For far too long, Mr. Speaker, this matter has lingered, clouded by delay, political football, and public frustration. But this administration, Mr. Speaker, has made one thing clear. Healthcare is not a privilege. It is a right, and we are acting with urgency, accountability, and compassion that the people of the South deserve. Mr. Speaker, the completion and commissioning of the St. Jude's Hospital redevelopment project is not just a construction milestone. It is a moral imperative. It is about restoring trust, restoring hope, and restoring access to quality health care for thousands of St. Lucians. We are not patching up the past, Mr. Speaker. We are building a modern, fully equipped hospital that meets the needs of today and is prepared for the health challenges of tomorrow. The new St. Jude's Hospital, Mr. Speaker, will feature state-of-the-art medical and surgical wards, modern diagnostics and imaging facilities, expanded emergency and trauma services, maternal and child health units, advanced energy and water efficiency systems, and climate-resilient design to withstand natural disasters. This is not just about infrastructure. It's about restoring faith in public institutions, ensuring healthcare equity, and building resilience, Mr. Speaker, in our social fabric. Our commitment, Mr. Speaker, in completing St. Jude's is marked by our investment in staffing, training, and health system strengthening. A hospital is only as strong as the people who run it, the doctors, the nurses, technicians, administrations, and we are working to ensure they are supported, valued, and resourced. We respect them, Mr. Speaker, we appreciate them, and we will continue, Mr. Speaker, to provide support to them. This project, Mr. Speaker, is also being managed with transparency and accountability. We have taken deliberate steps to ensure public funds are protected, timelines are respected, and solutions are kept informed every step of the way. This is the people's project, and we are treating it, Mr. Speaker, as such. We understand that health is foundational to national development. A healthy population is a productive population. That is why the St. Jude Hospital project is fully aligned with our broader health and social development agenda, one that prioritizes universal healthcare access, disease prevention, and community well-being. Let history, Mr. Speaker, show that this Labour Party administration did not delay. We delivered. We delivered with compassion, with competence, and with unrelenting focus on improving the lives of our people. Mr. Speaker, St. Jude's is rising, and with it, the spirit and strength of the South are rising too. Mr. Speaker, we are investing boldly and wisely. In healthcare, we are bringing long overdue relief with the completion of St. Jude Hospital, modernizing facilities at Victoria Hospital, and improving services through continued investment in primary healthcare infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, the constituency of Ansari Canaries alone is going to benefit, not alone as in the only constituency, but alone as in we are going to be benefiting, Mr. Speaker, from the renovation of the Canaries Wellness Facility, Mr. Speaker, the Jackmel Facility, Mr. Speaker, and the Vanna Facility, Mr. Speaker. But they will happen in sequence, Mr. Speaker, so we could share the facilities, particularly in Jackmel and Vanna. Mr. Speaker, this is about saving lives and restoring dignity. In education, the budget supports full tuition coverage for final year nursing students, increased preschool subventions, and additional CXC subject sponsorships, because no child, Mr. Speaker, should be left behind for lack of resources. Our social protection agenda is equally ambitious. Pensioners will now benefit from tax-free pensions, a one-time cash grant, and for the first time, NIC pensions, Mr. Speaker, will be adjusted annually based on inflation. Over 1,900 government workers, Mr. Speaker, on non-established contracts will be regularized, giving stability and peace of mind to hundreds of families. Mr. Speaker, isn't this putting our people first? We are also, Mr. Speaker, supporting economic transformation. With the reduction in airport service charges for regional travel, the removal of VAT from selected food items, and the tax deduction for investments in cybersecurity and AI tools show our resolve to support households and businesses alike while fostering digital resilience. Mr. Speaker, these are not abstract policies. They are tangible actions that directly support the people of Ansari Canaries and similar communities across St. Lucia. The reduction of airport service charges for regional travel means that small business owners, fisherfolk, and creatives from Ansari can now access regional markets more affordably, whether to sell products, attain training, or to form partnerships. The removal of VAT on selected food items offer immediate relief to families managing tight household budgets, many of whom, Mr. Speaker, are already having some difficulty. And Mr. Speaker, the tax deductions for investments in cybersecurity and AI tools open the door for young entrepreneurs and digital freelancers in Ansari Canaries to innovate, protect their businesses, and plug into the digital economy safely and competitively. This is what, Mr. Speaker, inclusive transformation looks like. Policy decisions at the national level that meet real needs at the community level. Mr. Speaker, this government understands that resilience is not just about climate. It is economic, social, and institutional. The Honorable Prime Minister, the member for Castries, emphasizes fiscal prudence, job creation, and the investment confidence is part of the same ecosystem of resilience. Mr. Speaker, a strong economy rooted in sound management is our best insurance against shocks, climatic or otherwise. Let this budget be remembered, Mr. Speaker, as the moment we chose courage, Mr. Speaker, over complacency. Mr. Speaker, let this budget be remembered as the moment we chose courage over complacency. Mr. Speaker, a moment when we as a nation refused to shrink from the challenges and turmoil, but rose undaunted to meet it with resolve, responsibility, and a firm belief in the ingenuity of our people. Mr. Speaker, let it not be said that we only counted the cost. it should be said that we counted people in every dollar allocated, in every initiative funded, and in every policy pursued. Mr. Speaker, this is the real accounting of this budget. Mr. Speaker, I would like to turn to implementation. Who is responsible for implementation and why does it matter? Mr. Speaker, the answer is both simple but yet profound. The public sector, our government ministries, departments and agencies bear the critical responsibility of turning our development agenda from vision into reality. Mr. Speaker, this is even more important now than ever before. In the next 3 to 5 years, Mr. Speaker, which is something I was just brought to my attention, we will witness the retirement of at least a cohort of seasoned public officials who entered the service under the old pension regime. Mr. Speaker, these individuals carry with them not only decades of experience, but also the institutional memory that has guided policy evolution, program implementation, and interagency coordination for over a generation. And Mr. Speaker, when they leave, what is in place for the new generation? Where are the standard operating procedures? Where are the knowledge management systems? Where are the structured mentorship pathways to ensure that the wisdom of the past informs the energy of the future? Mr. Speaker, the reality is this. Without proper systems in place, we risk a vacuum, loss of continuity, of context, and of nuance. Mr. Speaker, we risk having new entrants to the public service thrown into a complexity without the tools, the institutional context, or the historical understanding that they need to make decisions that are informed, coherent, and strategic. It is within this context where modernization, resilience, and forward-thinking leadership are no longer optional but essential. Mr. Speaker, we must examine how this national budget will be delivered. Honourable members will agree, for a budget to be more than numbers on paper, it must be executed for a public sector that is not only adequately resourced, but also capable, agile, and accountable. Mr. Speaker, and yet, we must confront a hard truth. The very systems tasked with delivering our development promises are often ill-equipped to do so. Our institutions, Mr. Speaker, though staffed by competent and dedicated professionals, are constrained by outdated processes, fragmented coordination, and capacity deficits. This is not merely an administrative concern, Mr. Speaker. It's a structural vulnerability, one that threatens the effectiveness of our investments and undermines public trust. Mr. Speaker, if we are to realize the transformative vision laid out in this appropriation bill, if we are to deliver on the economic growth, resilience, job creation, health and citizen safety, we must first fix the engine that drives it all, the public sector. Only that, Mr. Speaker, can ensure that implementation is not an afterthought, but the very heart of our national transformation. Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, it's not just an HR issue, it is a national development risk. And if we fail, Mr. Speaker, to act now, if we fail to institutionalize knowledge, professionalize our public service, and invest in structured, future-ready capacity building, we are at risk for losing more than just expertise. We are at risk of losing momentum, credibility, and the very foundation upon which the public trust is built. Building capacity in the public sector must go beyond merely coordinating consultancies or commissioning reports. While these approaches can be helpful in the short term, they do not foster enduring institutional strength or sustainable expertise. What we truly need is a deliberate, long-term investment in nurturing a cadre of public professionals, individuals equipped with the skills, knowledge, and ability to lead us into the new economy. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, you will never find anyone on this side of the House disparaging any public servant in delivering their duties. Mr. Speaker, this means prioritizing continuous learning, mentorship, knowledge transfer, and preservation of institutional memory. It means enabling our officers not just to manage projects, but to design, negotiate, implement, monitor, and adapt complex development programs. We must create the space and provide the tools for our public service to become proactive architects of transformation, not just merely passive administrators. Mr. Speaker, this annual event, the budget debate, is an opportunity to speak of plans and priorities, but it is also a time to reflect, not just on where we are, but on how we got here. Mr. Speaker, our development journey has been shaped by ambition and adversity, by bold decisions and quiet persistence. And while the road has not always been smooth, it has been ours to walk, guided by the enduring hope that we can build a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous St. Lucia. In a time of mounting global uncertainty, our ability to remain steady on this path, Mr. Speaker, depends not only on what we do, but on how we lead strategically, collectively, and with conviction. It is in this spirit that we must reaffirm the pillars of our national development architecture and institutions and give shape and structure to our aspirations. Mr. Speaker, the economy of the future is not singular. It is green, blue, and orange, sectors that reflect sustainability, marine innovation, and cultural creativity. To thrive, Mr. Speaker, in emerging sectors, St. Lucia must cultivate a public service that understands them deeply and technically and can speak the language of climate policy, digital innovation, impact investment, and creative industry development. Mr. Speaker, this requires a transformation in how we train, retain, and empower our human capital. Mr. Speaker, to unlock these opportunities, we must build a technically competent, mission-driven public service, one that engages communities, attract investment, manage partnerships, and develop coherent policies that turn potential, Mr. Speaker, into progress. The government, Mr. Speaker, is providing the fuel necessary to drive that, Mr. Speaker. The new economy demands new competencies, systems thinking, data literacy, participatory planning, digital fluency, cross-sector coordination, and a mindset of innovation, Mr. Speaker. We must, Mr. Speaker, move away from working in silos and work as one public service, Mr. Speaker. If we continue to train for yesterday's roles, Mr. Speaker, we will be unprepared for the realities of tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, what is our national training priority listed? If we are serious about building a future-ready St. Lucia, one that thrives in green, blue, and orange economies, then our capacity development must go hand in hand with our tools and frameworks that will finance and sustain that future. We cannot build resilience, Mr. Speaker, using yesterday's financing models. Again, Mr. Speaker, when the member for Miku South derides the Sovereign Wealth Fund, he's neglecting a very important part. We cannot build resilience using yesterday's financing models. We need to embrace innovative financing mechanisms that align our realities as small island developing state and our ambitions as a climate resilient nation. Mr. Speaker, we need professionals who understand how to structure and leverage innovative financial instruments, blue bonds and the like, financial instruments that allow us to invest in our marine economy while protecting our ocean resources. St. Lucia must be able to speak the language of investors and design instruments that are attractive, measurable, and transparent. Mr. Speaker, we are discussing the loss and damage fund. This is not charity, Mr. Speaker, but climate justice. The fund acknowledges that no amount of adaptation can undo the harm already inflicted on our coastlines, ecosystems, and livelihoods. And it demands that the international community respond with the solidarity and resources these losses require. It will also require us to establish national mechanisms to engage, Mr. Speaker, with the fund. We need officers trained in the development and scaling of nature-based solutions, Mr. Speaker, not just as an environmental interventions, but as economic and social investments. Mr. Speaker, the constituency of Anseri Canaries is leading in that regard, because very shortly, Mr. Speaker, we will be launching our mangrove project. And again, Mr. Speaker, it speaks to our mindset with regards to resilience, not only for our community, but for our fishers, but for the country on a whole, Mr. Speaker. Mangrove restoration, Mr. Speaker, coral reef protection, urban green spaces. These are not just conservation efforts. They are infrastructure for climate adaptation, livelihoods for our people, and buffers against disaster risk. Mr. Speaker, we must embed environmental and natural capital accounting into our national planning frameworks. Mr. Speaker, this means valuing our ecosystems, not only as beautiful landscapes, but as productive assets. Forests that store carbon, rivers that sustain agriculture, reefs that support tourism and fisheries. And if we cannot measure them, Mr. Speaker, we cannot manage them. Mr. Speaker, this requires a new cadre of economists, planners, and analysts who are trained in system and environmental economic accounting, who understand ecosystem valuation, and who can integrate these into cost-based analysis, public investment appraisals, and fiscal policy, Mr. Speaker, to inform the decisions of Cabinet and the government, Mr. Speaker. This, Mr. Speaker, is the level of transformation we must aim for. It's not about tweaking at the edges. It's about reimagining the machinery of government, equipping it not just to function, but to lead, attract investment, and deliver results in a world that is rapidly changing. Mr. Speaker, in response to these emerging demands, and to ensure that St. Lucia is not left behind in the race to access and absorb climate finance, the government has established a dedicated climate finance unit during this fiscal year. Mr. Speaker, the CFU Climate Finance Unit has a clear and strategic mandate to unlock the resources, build the capacity, and strengthen the systems that will enable St. Lucia to access, manage, and deploy climate finance in a way that is accountable, equitable, and aligned with our national climate resilient priorities. To clarify, Mr. Speaker, the CFU is not just about writing proposals. It is about shaping a pipeline of bankable, transformational projects. It's about mobilizing domestic and international financing for climate adaptation, mitigation, and resilience. Mr. Speaker, it is about building institutional frameworks that allow St. Lucia to become a trusted partner in the global climate finance architecture. Mr. Speaker, as the Green Climate Fund itself notes, accessing climate finance is not only about funding projects, it's about empowering countries, especially small island developing states, to take ownership of their climate futures, Mr. Speaker, ownership of our climate futures. Mr. Speaker, this unit is central to that ownership. It will work across sectors, energy, education, fisheries, health, forestry, water, housing, agriculture, tourism, finance, to ensure that climate finance is not an isolated stream, but a mainstream tool for national transformation. It will also lead on strengthening St. Lucia's position within the regional and international networks, such as the Climate Finance Access Network, the GCF's direct access entities, and other global partnerships that can help us scale ambition and accelerate action, like the AFD, which is funding the mangrove enhancery, ICA, FAO, and the GGGI. Mr. Speaker, this is not just about money. It's about capacity, leadership, and systems change. Through these efforts, we have already developed, Mr. Speaker, a Blue Bond framework, which we are currently working on, Mr. Speaker, in the view, Mr. Speaker, of an issuance. Mr. Speaker, let us invest in our people. Let us prepare them to lead. Let us be co-creators of our climate resilient future. Mr. Speaker, bold budgets demand capable institutions. We cannot succeed with outdated systems and passive delivery. Implementation, Mr. Speaker, has always been the Achilles heel of succeeding governments. And that is why this government is pursuing public service transformation, a shift towards greater responsiveness, accountability, and digital delivery. We are modernizing procurement, strengthening monitoring and evaluation, and building capacity across ministries to execute with excellence. Mr. Speaker, we can plan all we want, but without execution, plans, Mr. Speaker, remain on paper. That is why this budget empowers not just ministries, Mr. Speaker, but people. That is why, Mr. Speaker, this budget empowers not just ministries, but people. Citizens must be active participants in national development. The private sector must lead with innovation, and the public service must rise to meet the moment. This, Mr. Speaker, is our opportunity to do more than recover, more than normalize. This is our chance to transform. Mr. Speaker, we must foster a new development compact based on trust, shared responsibility, and ambition. We must rise above all challenges and use this moment, Mr. Speaker, to invest in people, in systems, and our shared future. Mr. Speaker, it is important to reaffirm the role of the Department of Economic Development in shaping St. Lucia's development pathway.
Member for Ancillary Canaries, you have 15 minutes left.
The department's mandate is not to implement, but to lead, coordinate, and facilitate our national economic development agenda. Mr. Speaker, this includes guiding the country's strategic planning processes, overseeing resource mobilization, both domestic and international, to fund our development priorities. Mr. Speaker, the department plays a pivotal role in coordinating official development assistance, engaging with donors, and supporting the development of impactful programs and projects. Mr. Speaker, as we look ahead, the Department of Economic Development must continue to set the tone for our future, championing a vision that is ambitious, inclusive, and resilient. Mr. Speaker, I must emphasize this role is not one of implementation, but rather of strategic leadership, coordination, and facilitation of our development agenda. Mr. Speaker, this includes steering our national planning processes, guiding the medium-term development strategy and the public sector investment program, and mobilizing the financial and technical resources required to bring our priorities to life. Mr. Speaker, the department also plays a lead role in ensuring institutional capacity and absorption capabilities across the public service, ensuring that we are ready to deliver on complex, multi-sectoral programs. Mr. Speaker, its mandate is clear: to create the enabling environment for sustainable development, not just for today, but for generations to come. In parallel, Mr. Speaker, the Department of Finance plays a crucial role in managing our economic and financial health. Mr. Speaker, as the central authority for fiscal policy and resource allocation, the department ensures that sound management of our national economy. Its primary function is to support government operations by promoting economic stability, maintaining fiscal discipline, and fostering conditions for sustainable growth. Mr. Speaker, together, these two institutions form the backbone of our development architecture, one providing the strategic compass, the other the financial steering. But Mr. Speaker, that alone will not cause the economic growth. That alone will not transform lives. Mr. Speaker, for us to realize our full development potential, we must go further. We need a public service that is not only well-trained, but also agile, responsive, and solutions-oriented. A public service that sees itself not as passive administrators of plans, but active partners in our national transformation. We also need a private sector that is bold, innovative, and aligned with our national vision. One that sees opportunities not just in profit margins, but in purpose, by investing in green technologies, local production, cultural industries, and digital transformation. A private sector that collaborates with government and communities to unlock new markets, create decent jobs, and build a more inclusive and resilient economy. Mr. Speaker, together, the public and private sectors must form a new development compact, rooted in trust, shared responsibility, and collective commitment to move St. Lucia forward. Mr. Speaker, that could only happen with the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party, led by the member for Castries East. Mr. Speaker, let us be clear. Nation building is generational. It's about ensuring that we are capable of meeting today's demands, but also ready to navigate the complexities of tomorrow's economy. Mr. Speaker, that is a future we must prepare for, starting yesterday. Mr. Speaker, we have some catching up to do, but we are still in the race, so let's not allow, Mr. Speaker, the change and the misfortune of misinformation to guide us going forward, Mr. Speaker. I urge this Honourable House to support the urgent reforms and investments in public service renewal, with an emphasis on succession planning that is embedded in knowledge management, technical capacity development, and leadership cultivation. All the operationalization of our modern public administration fit for purpose in a rapidly evolving world. Mr. Speaker, for this debate on the appropriation bill for the fiscal year 2025-2026, let us be clear. This is more than a financial statement. It is a declaration of intent, values, and national vision, a reflection of the trust Solutions has placed in this Labour administration to deliver by putting people first. Mr. Speaker, this is the largest budget in our history. This is why we have taken steps to strengthen our macroeconomic management and reinforce fiscal discipline while continuing to invest in critical social protection and economic development programs. But Mr. Speaker, let us be clear. Building resilience is not just the work of government. It is a collective national effort. It requires an engaged and informed citizenry, a dynamic and responsible private sector, and a public service that is not only efficient, but empathetic, understanding the daily struggles of the people it serves, Mr. Speaker. Together, Mr. Speaker, we must rise to the challenge, not just to weather the storm, but to build a stronger, fairer, and more adaptive solution that can thrive in an increasingly unpredictable world. Budgets are not just about what we can afford. They are about what we choose to prioritize. In this moment, St. Lucia must choose to invest in its people, its systems, and its future. And that is exactly what we are doing as a government, Mr. Speaker. We cannot navigate the complex, converging issues of climate change, economic disruption, and demographic shifts with outdated tools, disconnected systems. We need a confident, capable public service that leads with innovation and strategic clarity. Resilience must be forward-looking, not just recovery, but reinvention. Leadership must be visionary, coherent, and grounded in service. We must ask ourselves, are we investing with purpose? Are we building institutions that match our ambitions? We have the tools and the talent, Mr. Speaker. What remains is the consistency to act. Let this budget be more than a ritual, Mr. Speaker. It must be a turning point, one that moves beyond projects and spending to cultivate transformational partnerships rooted in resilience, equity, and sustainability. Let history show that St. Lucia did not shrink from its challenges. We rose, Mr. Speaker, with resolve and with belief in our people. Every dollar, Mr. Speaker, in this bill is a declaration that we reject vulnerability and destiny, vulnerability as a destiny, and that we are ready to shape our own future. Let us build not only infrastructure, but legacy. Let us prepare not only for today, Mr. Speaker, but for tomorrow. Let us rise together for a future-ready St. Lucia. Mr. Speaker, I will now turn to the most important part of my contribution, my constituency of Ansari-Kanis, Mr. Speaker. And I thank them on a regular basis, Mr. Speaker, for their continued support, Mr. Speaker. However, Mr. Speaker, there are those who believe to gain any kind of political mileage, they should tag themselves along with activities taking place in the constituency. Mr. Speaker, would you know, I had an activity in Ansari over the weekend, and the former member of parliament, recognizing that there were a series of activities taking place in Ansari-Kanis, he decided to make a contribution. Mr. Speaker, would you know, at the 11th hour, the contribution was a box of frozen chicken. Mr. Speaker, if I may say so, frozen chicken, Mr. Speaker. Frozen chicken, Mr. Speaker. The activity is this afternoon, and he brings the frozen chicken the very afternoon, Mr. Speaker. But the people of Ansari-Kanis, Mr. Speaker, will have their decision very soon, Mr. Speaker. What's also very interesting, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the Labour Party, the political leader, has never missed a meeting in Ansari, even when we were not in government. The United Workers' Party had a national meeting in Ansari, and the leader of the opposition was not present. What does that say to the people of Ansari-Kanis? They know he's already said, don't invest money in particular constituencies because they will never support us. I believe Bradley was there. Bradley, were you there, Bradley? Bradley was there. But the leader of the opposition was not there, Mr. Speaker. Why was the leader of the opposition not at a national meeting in Ansari Canaries, Mr. Speaker? Because we know what they think about us, Mr. Speaker. And we know what we think about them as well. Mr. Speaker, whether it is the jetty in Canaries, the rehabilitation of the field in Canaries, the court in Canaries, the field in Jacmel, the court in Jacmel, the field in Vanna, the court in Vanna, the HRDC in Tetchime, the field in Tetchime, the bridges, Mr. Speaker, the roads, the walls, the glasses, the dentures, the funeral assistance, every single thing we do for the people of Ansari Canaries, Mr. Speaker. The time will come, Mr. Speaker, for them to decide what they want, Mr. Speaker. And I have a feeling, Mr. Speaker, they will prefer drinking from a tall glass of water.
5 minutes left.
Mr. Speaker, I unreservedly, Mr. Speaker, support the appropriation bill for 25-26. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg that this House stands suspended until 2:15 p.m.
Honourable members, the question is that this House do stand suspended until 2:15? 2:15 this afternoon. I now put the question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Sitting suspended.
All right.
Of the morning, and we saw a number of passionate and energetic presentations, and we invite you to join us after the lunch break at 2:15 for the continuation of the proceedings as the debate moves into the second half of the day's proceedings. Michael, today. Well, I will begin by indicating that we started off with the Honorable Kenson Kazumi, the member for Grozile, and we saw a passionate and energetic presentation of the MP as he lauded Team St. Lucia for their exceptional performance at the Carifta Games that was held during the Easter weekend in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. A special commendation went to JD Emmanuel Michael from the Schwozel Athletics Club, who delivered a standout performance in the under 17 girls 100 meters, and she clocked a time of 11.68 seconds, surpassing the Carifta qualifying standard. Overall, the team scooped up 13 medals, Michael. Very impressive, and this is truly commendable, and of course, congratulations to them as they continue to soar. But among the many issues raised by Honorable Kenson Kazumi, we noted that he was especially proud of the performance of this year's Carifta team representing St. Lucia.
Oui, Claudia, notez-ni, afin Honorable Kenson Kazumi, membre parlement pour Grozile, lui qui commençait session aujourd'hui, il parlait en pile à ses performances simplistes, particulièrement l'année passée, enfin en différents sports, dans le boxing, volleyball, cricket, tous ces différents sports. Et qu'après, avec lui aussi parler à son plan gouvernement pour continuer en manière cela. Après c'était mon parlement pour notre cas, ça c'est
Honorable Stevenson King,
qui parlait aussi à son mais ça c'est ministre, enfin accomplissement ministre, il parlait d'Iwasco, avec lui aussi dit comme que il excusez-moi, il tout de suite le gouvernement et bien ministre qui a préparé ça il a fait un bill et bien un morceau de loi pour garder qui manière manger les affaires courantes par différentes manières. Ça c'est pour qu'il y ait les renewable energy courant par vent, par vous savez différents bagages comme ça. Avec équipe enfin et puis parler en chai associé différents secteurs ministres. Dernier monde qui parlait bon matin, c'était honorable. Ça c'est l'homme du bon matin. C'est première session. Hein? C'est honorable membre parlement pour cela, oui aussi, qui parlait en chai à sa finance avec habilité simplicité pour battre situation qui a venu particulièrement et puis manière bagaille à présent et puis le gouvernement américain. So il dit comme que nous comme pays nous pour jouer une manière pour adapter et pour développer le pays à différentes manières.
Yes, Michael, the member for Castries North, Honorable Stevenson King, looked at issues such as the critical matters surrounding the desilting of the Roseau Dam, renewable energy. He also spoke on road safety, road worthiness, garages, those areas which are almost perennial concerns, but of course need to be addressed in their own way so that there can be more synergy with what the citizens would want and what is actually happening on the road. He spoke of driver education to bring about behavior change, etc. The minister, of course, is maintaining a huge portfolio, as we can imagine, but I believe that he was very targeted with the issues that he raised on the, this sizable portfolio covering infrastructure, ports, transport, physical development, and urban renewal. He was very comprehensive and very effective in delivering his message. And the member for Ancillary Canneries, Honorable Wayne Gerard, Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Development and Youth Economy, spoke on issues such as climate adaptation, building resilience, his constituency, and he stuck to his 1 hour presentation time and did not go into extra time.
Ok, so nous continuer à porter comme ça qui a passé ici, mais nous allons dévier à 2h30 pour continuer et puis l'instant, nous avons 5 ministres qui restent pour parler toujours. Nous dévier à 2h30, nous allons 2h30, nous allons continuer. Alors nous allons inviter pour rester puis nous dévier à 2h30 pour continuer débat à ce budget l'année 2025 ou 2026.
Plus jeune monde qui a entré en affaires production animaux cette ici. Et puis nous croyons que c'est un bon bagage parce que nous ni as a gouvernement pour continuer à travailler